And many high school football teams kicked off their Week 1 season last night, but one of the finest small school football teams in the state of Ohio will kick it off here tonight at Contractor Stadium as Port Clinton comes into Whitney Field and Contractor Stadium to take on the St. Paul Flyers. We've got it live, we've got it free. Coming up on the OH Report next.
Take a look at all the action from Friday Night Football right here in North Central Ohio with great analysis, highlights, coach interviews, and so much more every single Friday night right here on the OH Report.
Every time that we walk in, we know we're going to walk into a place that's very clean, and when we walk in, we have a professional environment to come to. The reliability of Pinnacle is always on the spot. We've been with them 16 years so far. They're committed, they are professional, they are very transparent with their pricing, and they excel at meeting every goal and every need we have.
For over 12 years, you've trusted Scout Construction for quality building and remodeling. Now we're proud to offer expert excavation services to start your project off right. You see what we build, now see the way we dig. Experience the Scout Construction difference. Call or email us today for a free quote and let us break ground together.
Hey, does your checking account pay you with real cash rewards with no monthly maintenance fees ever? Bummer. Ask for Kasasa Rewards Checking. It's our superpower.
And welcome into Warren H. Whitney Field at Contractor Stadium for the game number 1 of the St. Paul Flyers 2025 football season as they look to get back to the playoffs, I think, for the 14th straight year. Joining us here today, Brandon Ehrenberg on camera, producer extraordinaire Andy. I've got Brandon Bliley next to me on color. I'm Chris Bliley, and looking forward to a big one here tonight as Port Clinton comes in with a lot of great skilled players, Brandon.
A lot of talent at the quarterback and running back position. I think 3 and 7 the last couple of years undersells the ability on this Port Clinton roster. A lot of close games that they really pushed to the end there against playoff teams. So I would argue that this might be a breakout year for them, returning again a lot of talent, specifically at the skill positions.
Taking a look at the team spotlight for Port Clinton, coached by Eric Muthhold. You see their last 3 games. Those were all last year, so that schedule's going to fill in as we move on this year. But a great quarterback, running back combination, Brandon. And Malakii, he's going to be alone. 5th place in the 100, 5th place in wrestling, and now he's getting D1 offers on the football field.
Really talented player. You're going to hear his name a lot today. Very excited to see how the St. Paul defense will stack up against him.
And taking a look at our featured player here today, Malakii Pinkleton, starting to receive some D1 offers. Just got an offer from Bethune-Cookman. You see 5'8", 195 pounds, 4'5", 540. Bench is 365, squats 455. Look at those touches, Brandon.
It's a strong kid. I mean, really a lot of touchdowns, 9 touchdowns last year, over 100 touches and 700 all-purpose yards.
And there's Pinkleton. He's tying those shoes. St. Paul's hoping he doesn't run out of those shoes. Let's take a look at the St. Paul Flyers as they come in under Coach Chris Dowdy in 2025. Again, this is one of the best small school teams in the state of Ohio. 2009 state champions. You see, last year their final game lost to Cuyahoga Heights here as an 8 seed, 37-20. But Coach Dowdy doing a great job. They're going to want to control the clock. They love to pound the ball. And again, they're looking for their 14th straight playoff appearance.
Run the ball, run the ball, run the ball. Flyers have done it well for forever, and I would say this is probably going to be another team that stacks up well to do just that.
And when you talk about St. Paul's success, there's one kid that we can talk about. Our player spotlight today is number 24, Landon Free. This kid does it all. I mean, I don't know, he probably mops the locker room afterwards, but he's going to punt, he's going to return kicks. And you see a ton of yards receiving, yards rushing, 18 total touchdowns. I think he's got 16 total touchdowns on the offensive end, 2 on special teams.
What a player. Lots of touches, getting a lot of activity on there, both receiving, running the ball, touches from, as you mentioned, punt, kick returns, really special player.
And we can't thank enough our pregame sponsor, RMH Concrete and Foundations. As Brandon, you and I both know we've got some of the RMH people sitting right here in front of us today, and if they're not, they're watching at home on YouTube and on Facebook as it's live and free. Looks like Port Clinton has won the toss and elected to receive, and I'm going to guess that you don't see a lot of teams with 3 players back there, but I am not kicking it to Malakii Pinkleton.
Left or right, but I'd keep it out of the center there.
Also back there, Gavin Cornell. You're going to hear these 3 names a lot. Wyatt Yarborough, their 6'2", 195-pound junior quarterback. Gavin Cornell, 5'9", 165-pound wide receiver linebacker. And then, of course, Malakii Pinkleton. For Norwalk St. Paul, doing your kicking is Nate Griffin. Nate, just again, along the lines of another Griffin coming through St. Paul. You knew Mike and Brian.
There have
been
been several.
He is a good kicker. This one he kicks high in the air short, and going up to take it is Eli Cuevas, the 5'7", 155-pound junior. And that's where Port Clinton will take over. First down and 10. And you can see on the Kellie Deeter state representative scoreboard there. Thank you, Kellie, for your sponsorship. Keys to victory for the Port Clinton Redskins. Brandon, limit turnovers. That, obviously
Kills a team. Absolutely breaks somebody's back, and, really got to limit those tonight. I think it's going to be important to possess the ball.
I say force St. Paul to beat them in the air. St. Paul's going to want to churn it on the ground. They'll run it 20 straight times and not think twice about it. Here's a pass on the perimeter, and it's going to be for first down yardage. As out there receiving it is Martez Wilson. Wilson, a sprinter, 5'9" junior, 145 pounds. So right off the bat, Wyatt Yarborough.
Port Clinton quickly to the line.
And there's Malakii. Boy, works through, and it's going to take a host of Flyers to bring him down, but a good defensive stop there by the interior portion of the line.
Absolutely. You don't want him to get a full head of steam going forward. It seems like the Flyers did a good job bottling him up there, but quick 2 plays here, and they're back on the line ready to run a third.
Yeah, they're going tempo here early as it's second down and 6. Pinkleton's going to take it, and he's going to run through a hole. Now he pops it outside, puts a move. He is down the right sideline, outside the numbers, but we are going to have 2-3 penalties. There's laundry on the field. This one's coming back.
There was one thing that everybody agreed on. It was a flag somewhere. We're going to see what it is here.
Yeah, and I'm going to guess they're holding, and sometimes you get that. You can find multiple penalties, and you can see Adam is already, he's on top of his game. We've got the flag feature up there on the Kellie Deeter scoreboard, and we'll see. The thing that for St. Paul, they marked the penalty from where it occurred. It occurred in an area that was 10 yards downfield, so it's going to be good for a Miller Excavating first down. There's another one of our fine sponsors bringing you this contest, and it's 1st and 10. So far, Port Clinton's done what they wanted.
What a cut from Pinkleton there on the outside.
Big time cut. They fake to Pinkleton, they throw the out, and diving for it out there is Gavin Cornell. Usually, they say, hey, how good is Port, who's the best players on Port Clinton? I say, look at a roster, and anybody with 3 stars next to their name, they're probably pretty good. That means they're going to be a 4-year letter winner here, and Pinkleton and Cornell are both going to be 4-year guys. And now Pinkleton stretches it out. Flyer defense converges on him, and great job by that St. Paul Flyer defense. And now a late penalty. And we'll see. Could it be a face mask or personal foul? Face mask on St. Paul. And wow, they really had him tied up behind. It was going to set up 3rd down and about 10. And that face mask is going to be good for a first down. There you get a look at it on a replay. And kind of happened in the middle of the huddle. Thank you to NOMS Access Orthopaedics for the replays here tonight from Contractor Stadium. But 15 yards is going to take the ball inside the 25-yard line down to the 22 and have set up a first down and 10 for the Flyers. Pass, boy, trying to read that was Landon Freeze, and he was closing quickly.
Very quick. I think Coach Dowdy's going to be a little frustrated at the penalty. The team tackled Malakii Pinkleton on that one. There wasn't one Flyer. There was a host of them on the play before. Quick out there, and as we just mentioned, Landon Freeze all over it. Great defense.
This Flyer defense, 4 seniors, 7 juniors. There's a keeper by Yarborough, and Yarborough gets through traffic, gets it down close to first down yardage, and it looks like they're going to move the chains. That's another A. Miller Excavating first down. And right back to that tempo. It's marked at the 12, so they'll be able to pick up a first down inside the 10. Pinkleton stutters, and a host of Flyers bringing him down there, led by number 28. Nick Pocus.
Defense is coming up strong here when Pinkleton's breaking out to the outside. I don't think there's going to be a lot of opportunities for one-on-one victories for the Flyers on defense. So Pinkleton really contained there.
Port Clinton's got some really good skilled players. Turn handoff, Pinkleton breaks the tackle, now pops it outside, and again, Pocus with another nice tackle there. Nick Pocus, Johnny on the spot for the Flyers. It'll be interesting. Here you got 3rd down. Eric Luthold, the head coach, I think if they plan on going for it on 4th down, Brandon, they probably run it here.
Yeah, I mean, quarterback's also an option. They've already ran it earlier this drive with Yarborough for a nice pickup.
3rd and 5. Yarborough looking on the slant. He overthrows everybody, and that's going to bring up 4th down. I will tell you, both of these teams have excellent field goal kickers. So special teams here play a big factor.
I'd say a good first drive for Port Clinton here. March down the field.
Coming in to kick is going to be number 40, Adam Fitt, 5'8", 165 pounds.
Lefty here, Chris.
Two left-footed kickers here. Snap is down, the hold is good, and the kick end over end, but it is through the uprights. We have our first score here with 9:29 remaining here in the opening quarter from Contractor Stadium. Port Clinton strikes first, and they lead it 3-0.
Hey, does your checking account pay you with real cash rewards with no monthly maintenance fees ever? Bummer. Ask for Kasasa Rewards Checking. It's our superpower.
And Fett to kick off, back for the Flyers deep as Pocus. He's going to take it on about the 8-yard line. Nick looks, runs into one, trying to strip the ball from behind, but Pocus with a good hard kick return gets it out across the 25, and the Flyers will bring their offense out for the first time in this season. And it'll be led by quarterback Grant Coonley. Let's take a look at the keys to the game here tonight for the Flyers to be successful, as again St. Paul here, a lot of skilled players, but we'll get to that after this opening play here. Coonley is going to hand off to Freeze. Freeze got to pop it outside, and wow, Port Clinton really quick on that right defensive end, and the linebacker is swarming to the ball. It was Brody Bollinger. He got some help there from that right defensive end, Caleb Spencer, and they bring Freeze down. Keys to the game, Brandon, keep the game close for the Flyers. Fourth quarter, I get that.
Home team definitely going to look to bring that momentum into the fourth quarter. If it's close, you know, I could see them edging it out here, so it'll be very interesting to see how this game unfolds later into the game.
And my belief is make Port Clinton control the ball like St. Paul wants to. And here, Pocus breaks it outside the number down the right sideline. And Pocus going to be brought down, but not until he breaks off a 33-yard run.
Boy, is he fired up there, Chris.
Yes, he is. Take a look at it here on the replay.
Off to the races there.
And that replay brought to you by NOMS Access Orthopaedics. It's no coincidence. His dad's the surgeon for NOMS Access Orthopaedics. First down and 10, handoff, Pocus picking through, and
late
got
flag
a flag.
Here.
I don't know if they're going to get a Flyer holding penalty. It is, and that's going to, St. Paul will see, you know, they like to pound it on the ground. Coonley's going to end up, when he graduates here, being a 3-year starter at quarterback. He's just a junior.
Specifically at the end of that Monroeville game, really commanding those last couple of drives that allowed St. Paul to get back into the game and eventually beat the undefeated Monroeville team at the end of the year. He's got a lot of size and is an interesting player to watch.
You look at Coonley's numbers, 6'4", 185 pounds. So good-sized quarterback, sees over, you know, most lines. Hey, that's 5 inches taller than Dylan Gabriel.
That it certainly is. It's going to help him a lot here. I think there's some good size on the Port Clinton line, and see how it unfolds.
Full house backfield for the Flyers. Hand to Pocus, and he is met by Cornell, and he is going to go down after a 1-yard gain, and that's going to bring up second down and 19. Get a good look at it here on the replay. You see Cornell just picking and, you know, kind of watching and waiting, and then when he sees where Pocus and Freeze is heading, he's Johnny to that spot.
Wide receiver on offense. He didn't look like it there playing defense. An excellent hit, filled the gap nicely, and took the Flyer running back down.
St. Paul does set Levi Rospert out here, also in the slot, Landon Freeze. Coonley drops. They give him a little bit of time. Now he has to roll, and the throw for Rospert. Rospert went high, and that would have been good for a Flyer first down, but just incomplete. See, Rospert, it looks like St. Paul has 3 or 4 of those kids wearing the Guardians helmet out there.
It's good for player safety, and I thought Rospert did a really good job there. Had he have came down with that ball, it looked like his feet were positioned to stay in bounds. Might even been good at the NFL. Looked like both feet were going to be in.
And when I say the Guardians helmet, I'm not talking about the Cleveland Indians, a.k.a. the Guardians. We're talking about the helmet that they hope prevents concussions. 3rd down and 19 for the Flyers. The line to gain for a first down is the 31. Looking, and screen is set
Blown
up.
right up.
And I think it was intercepted. They're going to say incomplete, as they were looking to run the screen for Freeze. And let's take a look here. And Port Clinton wasn't having any of that, and did hit the ground for an incompletion. Freeze going to stay out there as he's the punter, and it's certainly on 4th and 19 from midfield. It looks like St. Paul's going to punt. So, you know, the hope here is you kick it deep enough and make Port Clinton have a long field in front of them.
I mean, that is a great defensive possession there by Port Clinton. We were talking earlier in the pregame here. St. Paul really loves to run the ball, getting them backed up on 3rd and 19. That puts Port Clinton in a very advantageous position. Good job by the defense there.
Christian Miller, 5'8" sophomore, is back deep. And we're going to have a flag for delay of game. And now I believe they're going to say either St. Paul had called timeout prior, or they're going to say that they started the clock too soon. Well, you can tell week 1, I've already seen St. Paul gets Edison next week. I've seen a bunch of Edison kids here. I think probably some of Port Clinton who will play Edison later on. They're both members of the SBC Bay Division. So snap is good. The punt is away. He's going to punt away, and it's going to take a bounce and go out of bounds right around the 20 at the 21, and another flag. And let's see what the call is here. As I think early in the season you're going to see a little more flags.
A lot of laundry on the field to start this game,
yeah.
Chris.
He looks like he's saying somebody threw a forearm shiver. You remember that official in the NFL game where he signaled he was giving them the business. That was he was giving them the business. Yeah, we have a flag. We have injury timeout. We have flag. But we don't have he was giving them the business.
Be interested to see what the team comes up with there for a graphic.
Well, again, if that was the call, you're going to march that from the 21-yard line, and should take them all the way back to around the 10-yard line. Actually, the spot was the 31, so they would be able to mark it back. See, there it is, 21. They're going to take it back to about the 10.5-yard line.
To your point, Chris, early in the season, you oftentimes see a lot more flags out on the field. Teams still getting acquainted with each other as the new season gets underway.
Yeah.
Going to be excited to see how these teams grow into the game. Hopefully a lot less laundry on the field and a lot more football plays out there.
And looking at the St. Paul schedule, they're going to have a big task in front of them next week with Edison. But I'm going to guess team speed-wise, this is the most speed they're going to see all season long. And so these quarterbacks are going to be tested. You've certainly got to not, get caught cheating and looking into the backfield, because these receivers are run past you.
Get burned and don't want to give up the long touchdown if you're St. Paul here.
So that takes it back to the 11-yard line. It'll be first down and 10. And nobody out there. Yarborough's going to throw it, and it's going to be good for 7. Levi Rospert out there on the tackle, along with Gunnar Kluting. As on the reception, Danny Baker, 6'1", 150-pound junior.
A little bit of a pick play there. Got the ball out quickly, delivered to the receiver. Good catch, started moving up the field. Big gain on first down.
Well, St. Paul was a little bit late getting to that second receiver. Here's Pinkleton picking his way through and then turns around. A little surprised. They're going to give him forward progress at the 23. Stayed on his feet and then fell back to the 21.
tried dancing around, getting a little fancy at the end. You can clearly tell he's a powerful back. When he gets his head going forward, it's tough to bring him down, but Flyers have been moving with lots of bodies there.
And here goes Pinkleton. Pinkleton cuts it back to the middle of the field, and he's caught from behind by Pocus. But again, we're going to have holding. And I think they might have the holding on St. Paul. Let's see.
I'll tell you what.
We'll wait. Tell you what, whoever sells those yellow flags, they're doing all right. Had a lot of them on the ground here today, and they're going to say it happened at about the 25. I thought they might have called it on one of the wide receivers or defensive backs for St. Paul, but
Port Clinton looked quick to back up there. Might have thought they got away with one and quickly realized when they saw the flag on the field, we're going to have to start marching backwards.
So it happened about 2 yards downfield. When they move it back, it's going to set up a first down and 18.
And that's a tough break for Port Clinton. They had picked up a lot of yards on that play.
Yarborough in the shotgun, has Pinkleton on his left hip, turns and hands off. And, you know, watching Pinkleton, I'm trying to think who he reminds me of. A little bit like Barry Sanders in that he doesn't hit the hole and try to beat you with speed. He really takes his time. He's patient in that backfield, and he's looking to find where the hole is.
But when he finds that hole, he does hit it hard. He brings a lot of speed and a lot of power there.
They throw it on the outside, and good job by the cornerback out there, Levi Rosbert, on the tackle. I want to mention these cornerbacks for Norwalk St. Paul. Their defensive backfield, strong safety, Landon Freeze, where's number 24. The two corners, Hunter Springer, both sophomores, number 8, Wyatt Hauser, number 9. And here we go on 3rd down and 12. Yarborough under pressure, looks, and he is going to be sacked in the backfield and brought down inside the 15-yard line.
Another flag out on the field here, Chris.
Yeah, let's hope. Nate Sandor in there to make the tackle. If you remember the last possession that Port Clinton got their field goal on, St. Paul had a 15-yard penalty, and they're signaling here that it might be some type of defensive holding. Let's see. Still waiting on the call. Holding defense. And with that, I think they're going to replay the down. I think it'll become 3rd down. They'll mark it off 10 yards. And it's going to take it out close to first down yardage. And should be 3rd down. So they actually move it back to the 30, and now that brings a whole bunch of different plays into the playbook. So a couple times defensive penalties hurting the Flyers here early. Oh, there's Yarborough, puts it on the ground. Yarborough scrambling, and he is going to be bowled over in the backfield. As coming up and making the big hit is Nick Pocus.
Pocus having an excellent start to this game, running the ball strong on offense, comes up with the big 3rd down sack.
And surprised with a back like Pinkleton that, you know, needing 3-4 yards, you don't maybe give him the ball there. But either way, it's going to come as a sack for the Flyers. So back-to-back sacks. The first one wiped out because of penalties.
And
punt, it's going to go through the end zone as the snap goes over the punter's head. And we've got a pitching matchup here at St. Paul, 3-2. They're gonna have to go to the bullpen now at 3-2. But with that safety, we'll keep it right here. Keep it right here as Flyers are now going to get the ball, and we'll see. You know, you notice the kick the first time Port Clinton had to kick it. That guy had a pretty good leg. I wonder if they'll kick it or they'll punt it here. Their option. I did want to mention I'm looking here. Great crowd here tonight on opening night for St. Paul. I just looked down on the sideline. Longtime head coach of the St. Paul Flyers, John Livengood, down on the sidelines. And
Hall of Fame coach there.
Hall of Fame coach. And I just saw Ed DeSanti, who is after 30-plus years of the head coach at Bellevue. He's here tonight taking in the contest. He's sitting down front and center on the St. Paul side. So You know, Coach Livengood's name will live in infamy here at St. Paul.
Chris, I think over 300 wins with St. Paul, a state championship. What an excellent coach, an even better human. I know he's probably very excited and proud to watch Coach Dowdy lead the Flyers in his second year.
Absolutely.
Was a player for him, and is having a good start here to this game as his defense makes a great stop despite a lot of these penalties. Very interested to see what happens here with the Flyers on offense next.
Don't adjust your screens. That's right, 3-2. Fitz kick is going to be short. Coming up to field it is going to be Pocus. Pocus picks through a couple lanes, breaks the tackle, and gets it out across midfield. And that's where the Flyers will take over. First down and 10. And, you know, give St. Paul credit. Their defense bent but didn't break there, and then they came up with a couple big plays.
Some shaky moments, but you're absolutely right. When it mattered, the defensive line really got to the backfield. Now, there was some fortunate breaks for them, some bad snaps, fumbling of the ball for the quarterback, but all in all, a very good defensive possession there.
Here's that full house backfield we've become accustomed to watch here at St. Paul. Coonley in under center. See who joins Pocus and Freeze in that backfield. And
looks like they're switching out the balls here.
Yeah, switching out the ball. It might be, you know, your team has their own offensive ball, so that might be Port Clinton's ball that's there. And they're going to toss it to the sideline. Nice arm there from Gavin Cornell.
Backup quarterback spot might be taken now.
First and 10 Flyers. They start inside Redskin territory at the 46. Turn handoff to Freeze. Freeze cuts it back and pushes forward. Maybe gets 2. And let's set those starters for St. Paul on that offensive line. Alex Baca, number 73 at right tackle. Gunnar Cluting, number 77 at right guard. Rocco Rizzo, but he's on the all-name team here. Starting center, Adam Dowdell, a junior, wears number 75 at left guard. And Rafael Gross, a junior, wears number 57 at left tackle. Good thing for the Flyers, 4 juniors on that line. Pocus going to try and pop it outside on a little delay, and he's going to be brought down in the backfield for a loss of 2. Wingback is Connor Lindenberger. He's a senior, wears number 16. You'll see Levi Rosbert at split end. Tight end Nate Sandor. We've called Nick Pocus's name a lot, Landon Freeze, and then again, we talked about Grant Coonley. St. Paul, 5 seniors, 18 juniors. All 5 seniors start for this Flyer offense.
Julian Curry involved on the defensive play there. He got fired up after that tackle.
Coonley straight back to pass. There's going to be a holding call as pass made. It's broken up, and I'm going to...
And an offsetting penalty, Chris.
Yeah, well, that's going to save St. Paul. Intended for Freeze, and I think they'll get a push in the back on the receiver. But I thought they did a little pirouette there. The tight end or whoever was on that left side for St. Paul, the right defensive end, was going to get to the quarterback, and you got to protect him, especially on the blind side.
Absolutely. Looks like these are going to be offsetting penalties, but gosh, we've seen that flag symbol come up a lot here on the broadcast.
Yeah, good catch there on that instant replay. That's a NOMS Access Orthopaedics replay, as Adam is all over that one. 3rd and 2. Hey, 3s and 2s are popular on the scoreboard. 3:23 to go, 3-2 Port Clinton, and it's 3rd down.
With 3 timeouts left for both teams.
Yeah, oh, good pickup there. St. Paul doesn't have a 32 out there right now, but I might give it to them if they did. 3rd down and 11 for the Flyers. Coonley gets the play from the sidelines, and he is going to come in. I see some Bellevue Redmond out of the SBC taking in the game also, as they'll play Port Clinton. So,
Chris, can the Flyers convert here on 3rd down? They are known for running the ball. Can they convert potentially through the air here?
3 receivers to the right looking, and we're going to have holding again. And Coonley trying to push forward, and he's going to get back to the original line of scrimmage, but back-to-back plays where the defensive pressure from Port Clinton was just too stout, and in trying to keep their quarterback jersey clean, they committed the penalty. I'm going to assume you decline this penalty and bring up 4th down.
Yeah, that's just a tale as old as time there. When you see the quarterback break out like that, play kind of breaks down. Quarterback wants to make something happen with his feet, rolls out to the left. Play was kind of moving to the right. Oftentimes, jerseys start to go the other way, and the holding becomes a little more obvious.
And they are going to take the penalty. Interesting. You know, I guess they probably feel St. Paul's not going to pick up 4th and 20, but you could get one of them penalties where you give them an automatic first down. I think if you thought you were going to get the ball back, I may have taken it. But either way, St. Paul now facing 3rd and 21 back in their own territory at the 43-yard line. 3:01 inside 3 minutes on a running clock here now. Opening quarter, week 1 comes to a conclusion tonight of Ohio high school football. And Coonley is going to be bowled under and brought down as Caleb Spencer, I think he's in there for his 2nd sack. As, when you need 19 yards, Brandon, it takes a while for those receivers to get down the field, and they just don't have time right now.
Yeah, that was a great pass rush there by the Redskins. Really brought the heat. A little too much for the offensive line of the Flyers, but kudos to the defense there. Not only did they hold the Flyers, heck, they marched them back yards from where this drive started at.
So Eric Luthold rolled the dice there by giving St. Paul another down. It worked. As now Landon Freeswell standing back inside his own 25. High snap. Freeze gets the punt away. Coming up and taking the punt at the 36-yard line is Christian Miller, and St. Paul is there defensively. And St. Paul going to pick up a 15-yard penalty there. A little extra push as he was getting up off the pile.
Chris, this is becoming an all too familiar sight here with these yellow flags flying through the air. But great coverage. You know, that's the bummer there.
Yeah.
St. Paul flies to the ball, multiple people. First man gets the hit, does a really good job of taking him down, but gave a little bit extra there to the player on Port Clinton side.
Rocco Rizzo made the first hit, and then 2 other guys cleaned him up. I didn't see who committed the penalty, but either way, it's one that Coach Dowdy not going to be happy with. There's on replay, and it was going to be 52 for St. Paul. Rocco Rizzo with the extra push there, and it's going to give Port Clinton the ball now in St. Paul territory. Last time they had it on the 21, so now they're inside Flyer territory. That's a 32-yard improvement. And looking quick out and trying to close on that was Rosberg. But what a catch made out there. I didn't think he caught it. They're saying incomplete. Well, that would explain by Lucas Bodie quickly. Yeah, and there you can see ball laying on the ground, but Bodie tried to run it over the line of scrimmage like he had caught it. Pinkleton moving forward, pushes through, stays on his feet, and Pinkleton's going to get it down inside the 35 to the 31. And Pinkleton's going to pick up 14, and that'll be good for a Miller Excavating first down. Yarborough looks, he's got a wide receiver wide open down the seam, and Gavin Cornell is going to go into the end zone from 33 yards out. And we talked about Cornell, Pinkleton, Yarborough, and basically it was those 3 on this drive. And what a pass right on the money. He's separated from that defensive back for St. Paul and gets into the end zone for the touchdown.
Got to give credit to the Port Clinton offense. The tempo there looked like it caught St. Paul a little off guard. Looked like they were still getting set at the line before the ball was snapped, and I think it showed as we had a wide receiver running down the left side of the field there, untouched into the end zone.
We got it. We just saw it on our NOMS Access Orthopaedics replay, and now in to attempt the extra point, Adam Fitt. High snap, it's down, and Fitt is going to split the uprights. With 1:31 to play, opening quarter from Contractors Stadium. Port Clinton has extended their lead, and they lead it 10-2. 10-2, Port Clinton leads it after that 33-yard passing catch from Wyatt Yarborough to Gavin Cornell. And St. Paul in a position here where you really need to answer, Brandon. You don't want to fall behind 2 scores.
Absolutely. Still within 1 possession here, 8 points behind. Definitely want the Flyers to make a march down the field here and come up with some points outside of the safety they've already gotten thus far.
Pocus takes it right on the 10. He's going to bring it left side. Pocus has got some room. And again, he pushes out off over the 35. I thought you might see a late pile on there. Jumping on the pile there at the end was Trey Armendariz. But no penalty there. It's play on. And the Flyers, good field position here starting on the 36.
To say Pocus has done an excellent job in the return game tonight. He is picking up hard yards, getting by first hits, really marching down the field when he has the opportunity to.
Right now, that athletic and the size of that defensive line for Port Clinton, giving the Flyers fits, at least on that last possession.
Especially the speed. I mean, St. Paul's trying to run on the outside here, and it feels like Port Clinton's got 1 or 2 guys already waiting for it.
Pocus and Freeze in the backfield. Turn handoff, and before that penalty, we're going to have a penalty as it's looks like illegal motion on the Flyers.
Might have been good. Looked like there was a Port Clinton guy coming through untouched. Might have been a big collision in the backfield there.
Another flag.
Well, Chris, we haven't said that but only a few times this first quarter here.
I was thinking, holy cow, I think we've had enough flags in 1 quarter for an entire game. This reminds me of the old Browns when they were struggling. Again, game 1 here, St. Paul going to try and get it back. And they're a nice carry as picking up nice yardage out over the 40. For St. Paul, that was number 32, Abel Couch, a 5'9", 185-pound freshman running back.
Quick cut there. Looked like he was going to juke inside, bounces it outside, gets the first down. Oh, sorry, just a bit short here.
Well, you had that 5-yard penalty, but to your point, he picked up 12, and it's now 2nd down and 3. Now picking his way through the offensive or defensive line and getting out across midfield for a 7-yard gain is Landon Freeze. And
probably his first big pickup of the game here so far, but a nice run again. Contact in the backfield and still got through for the first down.
That's an A. Miller Excavating Flyer first down. And I'm going to guess St. Paul will have to run 1 play here as there's inside 30 seconds left. 17 on the play clock. And looking, Coonley looking, he's throwing it, and there's a grab there as a nice move by Levi Rosbert. And the safety there just had to grab him.
Chris, there's going to be a flag in the backfield as well there. It looked like they're going to get holding on the offense and then also a defensive penalty. I don't think there's any more flags left in their pockets of these officials. I saw every one come out.
They're going to be offsetting penalties. So I guess we'll just do it all over again.
I'm running out of fingers to count all these flags, Chris.
Well, that time, 3 more flags on the field. What month is Flag Day? We've had it here at Whitney Field tonight. Contractors Stadium is, so 49-yard line right now. It will be first down and 10 for St. Paul.
Have not seen them drop back to pass, so the play action there looked like it caught Port Clinton a little off guard.
Sure did. Here's a toss, and running with the football, and a good hit there defensively by Armendariz as he brings down Abel Couch. And we're going to call a couple freshmen, 32 and 23. Casey Freeze, he starts at linebacker. He wears number 23. And with that, we've got 1 quarter in the books here from Contractor Stadium. Right now, it's Port Clinton 10 and St. Paul 2.
Hey, does your checking account pay you with real cash rewards with no monthly maintenance fees ever? Bummer. Ask for Kasasa Rewards Checking. It's our superpower.
And back we are here at Contractors Stadium. Thanks for joining us here live and free on Facebook and YouTube. It's the OH Report Saturday Night Football, week number 1, second down and 15 for the Flyers here as they look for an equalizer. Pass out there to Rosberg. Rosberg gets nice yardage. He gets the penalty yards back plus 3 more, and it makes it a more manageable, third down.
Absolutely. I think that's a great pickup there. Quarterback clearly knew where he was going with the ball quickly. 2-step drop back, fired out, and the receiver immediately, not messing around, going side to side, starts making his way up the field. Great pickup there on second down. Much more manageable here on third down now.
Contractors Stadium again opened, I want to say 3, maybe 4 years ago. Also, Norwalk Truckers played here. Congratulations to the Truckers. 17-14 week 1 winners last night, so they moved to 1-0. Here we go with third down, and let's call it 7. And there's the handoff to Pocus. Pocus is going to be met, and not making the tackle, but kind of holding him until his friends got there. Was number 22, Lucas Bodie. Bodie never brought him down, but he held him long enough that a host of Redskins could get there, and that's going to set up 4th down and 6 for the Flyers. Now, let's not forget Landon Freese punts it. He's got a pretty good arm. I don't think St. Paul's going to fake it here. I think with still 3 quarters to play, they'll try to pin him back deep and hope the defense can hold him. Snaps down, and the kick is away.
Good kick there.
And, yeah, calling for the fair catch at the 12-yard line is going to be Christian Miller.
Seemed like he had a little bit of time and space there. A little surprised to see the fair catch. Thought he might have tried to take that one and run up the field, but looks like Port Clinton's going to get a start here. Backed up a little bit.
Producer-director is very astute. Adam says, we've gone 60 seconds without a flag here. Last night, we had 7 straight plays where a kid was down due to cramps. And, you get that a lot in week 1. It's a little hotter out. Yes. Yeah, speaking of Clear Fork, big win for the Colts last night. I watched them beat up on Madison in their scrimmage, but they took down number 3 in the state runner-up, Sandusky Perkins, 17-14. And good again, as you see with St. Paul, a host of Flyers in there. Beckett Meisner on the carry, 6 foot, 195. They've got a lot of backs they can go to.
Absolutely. Both teams, really. It seems like St. Paul's ran out 3 or 4 different running backs, and I think that's Meisner's first carry of the day for a nice pickup on first down.
Twin receivers to the left, Cornell to the right, and Cornell racing down the sideline, dives, and it's incomplete. Actually, that was Wyatt Siefke, the 6'3", 205-pound senior, 3-year letter winner. He had to sell out for that, and you know what? That's tough for a college and NFL receiver to make. The turf monster got him there.
Kudos for him getting into position. He was streaming down that left-hand side. Size certainly helps there.
And they're going to go quickly. St. Paul is going to be up to the challenge, and they're going to stop him just out over the 20. They're going to mark it at about the 20.5-yard line, and that's going to set up 4th down. Another good hold here by the Flyer defense.
Chris, the St. Paul faithful really liked that one. They love a 3rd down stop. Really good defensive stand there, keeping them sealed back towards their end zone. Going to be really interesting to see here what sort of field position the Flyers are going to start off with on this possession.
Well, Landon Lease, the 6'1 sophomore, is going to punt. St. Paul is standing in Port Clinton territory, so they're expecting a short punt. And now Port Clinton going to be a little late to get a couple guys on, so they are going to use a timeout. And you can see there on the Kellie Deeter scoreboard, Port Clinton 10 and St. Paul 2. Yeah, want to thank RMH Concrete Foundations, proud supporters of all St. Paul athletes. Also, find out more about the state representative candidate. That's Kellie Deeter. Go to kelliedeeter.com by clicking the link in the description. Also, sitting down in front of us, Dave Pocus, Access Orthopaedic Services in Norwalk and Sandusky, accepting new patients now. Thank you to those sponsors. We'll mention several others throughout the broadcast here tonight. But, you know, I think the question tonight was, could St. Paul keep Pinkleton in check? So far, I think they have. It's been that 33-yard, you know, strike from Yarborough over to Cornell that's been the big play.
Just when it feels like the momentum's about to switch here in Port Clinton after scoring, gets a nice defensive stop, have the chance to go down the field here and score. St. Paul comes up really big with a good defensive stand, doesn't even allow for a first down.
So Hunter Springer and Landon Freeze back. And the punt is away. Springer going to take it at the 47. Springer going to try and pop it to the outside, and a great open field tackle there by Danny Baker.
That was an important one. Looked like he had some room on the outside. We'll see it here in a second. Good punt, really deep. Two flyers back there.
Springer sure-handed brought that down. You saw the tee come in there. Surprised it wasn't a flag, but that is the orange tee to basically signify where he received the punt.
I thought Landon Freeze actually made a really nice block there, a smart one to allow for his teammate to open up the left side of the field there. Almost got around for a big play, but Port Clinton swarming to the ball, making a nice last-ditch tackle.
So St. Paul going to take over on their 46-yard line. First down and 10, 8:53 to go here, opening quarter of week number 1 of the Ohio high school football season. Hope you watched them last night. 10 live OH report and 15 highlights. Adam said he didn't get home till 3:30 in the morning. There's no fast food restaurants open in Mansfield at 3:30, is there, Adam? Burger King, all right. Coonley back to pass. He's going to throw it up and throws it to the right side. Back shoulder throw for Freeze. Turned the defensive back around, but it's going to fall incomplete.
Freeze made a really good effort there.
Yeah.
Looked like he just got turned around at the last minute. Looked like a back shoulder throw. Maybe landed a little bit shorter of where Freeze was expecting it at the start, but he made a nice adjustment mid-flight, almost coming down with the ball there. Flyers now looking a little bit more confident in the air. A couple of throws recently. Few that have connected nicely, potentially open up the playbook here.
Yeah, I think if they can pop one or two of those passes, it will open up the run game. Full house backfield for St. Paul. Coonley turns, hands off, running straight up the middle and trying to get tough yards as Pocus. And he's going to pick up maybe 2, does Nick. And I apologize. You know, I'm used to watching St. Paul football, and I remember Zach Pocus, who got a lot of carries and was a stud for Norwalk St. Paul. I believe he's either in here in attendance or he's getting off a boat. He runs fishing charters in Sandusky. One of the few kids I know that got a scholarship to fish in college. How cool is that?
Definitely more fun than my college degree.
Yes, 3rd down and 8 for the Flyers as we approach the 8-minute mark. Coonley going to roll right. Looking, now he's got to get it, and he finds a receiver right about at the midfield stripe. Out there for St. Paul was number 2, Nate Sandor, from his tight end position. But another good job by that Port Clinton defense as it's going to set up 4th down. And again, I think getting Coonley out of the pocket is going to be key. But good time, a good pass rush there by Cole Bishop. He was kind of shadowing Coonley, and then late came on a rush and made Coonley throw it before he wanted.
Seemed like the play was designed for him to roll out to the right there, so they got him to his spot, but definitely under pressure. There was a host of Port Clinton Redskins in the area.
Christian Miller, high snap, Freeze gathers it, and nice kick down the left sideline. It's going to go out of bounds inside the 20, right around the 15. They're going to mark it at the 17, and that's where Port Clinton will take over. First down and 10. And I don't want to sound like a broken record, but I've been impressed with this Flyer defense through the first 17 minutes of the game here.
Absolutely, and I think it comes down to team tackling. You've got an incredible back for Port Clinton and Pinkleton, who runs very strong and aggressive, is very fast in open spaces, and I think the Flyers have done an excellent job of bottling them up, and that's not a one-person effort. That is a team effort.
Well, and there's not many defenses, maybe a few more in D7 because you got to play some younger players, but they start 4 sophomores and a freshman on defense. And a good push ahead, but Pinkleton's going to get it out to about the 19. Only going to be a 2-yard gain as a host of Flyers there for St. Paul, but Alex Baca and Nate Sandor, the two to get up off the bottom of the pile. Second down and 8. And they look. He's looking down the left side, and
another flag.
And what's that one going to be?
If I had to guess, it looked like maybe holding on number 15.
And that 15 was Meisner. He was out there in pass cover. Actually, I thought he was on a run in the route, but when he saw a late blitz there, he held the St. Paul Flyer defender. And here's a good look on replay. And Rocco Rizzo out there making a tackle.
Looked like they had 2 options there. Pinkleton ran out to the right-hand side there after they saw that he was covered. They looked back left. At that point, the Flyers had caught up with them.
Another flag down. And a false start. And this one with the line of scrimmage at the 10. They'll mark it back 5, and it is second and a new zip code right now for Port Clinton.
They don't have very many yards. They can still go backwards, so.
Yeah, well, every penalty from here is only going to be 2.5 yards.
They're looking for the good buddy score, 10-4. That sounds like it should be a trucker score, 10-4.
Yeah. Pinkleton's going to carry it outside. Tries to get outside the numbers. He's going to get the penalty yards back to the 10. But again, St. Paul doing a nice job. I see some Monroeville Eagle football players. Hey, Crew 6, we'll be in Monroeville next week at Marsh Field as Tiffin Calvert and Monroeville will be our live telecast.
That's a great defensive stand there by St. Paul. If you give up a lot of yards there, big chance for a third down play. It's going to be way farther back now as they're looking deep.
On a slant, and they're going to throw a flag on that. I don't think that ball was catchable. It was way out in front of the receiver. Let's take a look at it here. And, yeah, that ball wasn't catchable. They're going to talk about it, and I would not be surprised if they pick this flag up. As you saw here on the Access Orthopaedics replay, that was not interference. And you get a meeting of the minds. I wonder if they're asking, hey, do you have your flag? I have my flag. And
Could hear that on the replay there. A couple unhappy Flyer parents. I don't blame them.
And usually when you meet this long, somebody's going to hold it and shake it, and they're going to say no flag. But this is a long time to be talking about it, and they'll pick up the flag. That's not going to make Coach Leupold happy, but Coach Dowdy with a smile now. And, it doesn't matter how long it takes them, Brandon. Get it right, and they got it right.
I think that's the right call. If you look on the replay as we showed there, didn't look like there was really a play to be had on the ball. And as you could hear from the reaction from the home fans here, they're loving it. Backed up here, 4th down. Another really good defensive stop for the St. Paul Flyers.
And again, back deep for the Flyers, Hunter Springer and Landon Freeze. And I'm going to say go straight forward this time, fellas. Let's St. Paul going to have good field position. End over end punt, and it's going to go out of bounds inside the 40. St. Paul going to take over on about the 38-yard line of the Port Clinton Redskins. Still plenty of time left here opening half. 6:42 from Warren H. Whitney Field at Contractors Stadium. And St. Paul looking to find pay dirt for their first time in this season.
It'll be first down and 10.
It'll be interesting to see if they can get a little bit more of a push here from the offensive line. I know there's some really tough runners in the backfield. Try to get those guys a little more room and start to see the yards pile up here for this offensive unit.
So first down and 10. 3 receivers kind of bunched to the left. Pocus lone back. They'll throw it out to Freeze. Freeze, not a lot of room to go, and he is going to lose yards, and he fumbles the football. Pinkleton picks it up. He's got one man to beat outside the numbers, down the sideline. Pinkleton for a touchdown. There is a flag on the field. Flag on the field at the 49-yard line.
What an athletic play there from Pinkleton. We'll be interested to see what the call on the field is.
Yeah, the question is was his knee down? Pinkleton stole the ball from Freeze there. And I'm not sure what the penalty is going to be. But just running straight forward, Pinkleton showed that strength and just ripped the ball right out of Landon Freeze's hands. Here, we get to see it again. And, you know, his knee was really close to being down. That's not what the flag is for, but let's see what the flag, the flag's back at the 49-yard line. Question is it on St. Paul? Is it on Port Clinton?
If I saw that correctly, it looked like I just saw defensive holding.
Well, let's see.
There's an illegal block in the back.
So it was after the fumble. So the first turnover of the game goes to Port Clinton. They'll move it back. And Port Clinton will get it first down and 10 from the 39. I was going to say, you hear it in college, you hear it in the NFL and in some bigger school football. Eventually, that offense has got to help the defense. But guess what? In D7, you got 7 or 8 of the same guys out there playing offense and defense. So, you know, they need to help themselves right now and come up with another big stop here.
Well, the defense has done its role thus far. Let's see if they can continue that.
St. Paul seems energized. I mean, the defense turn handoff and new tailback with the football, Jace Cornell.
Big hit there.
Yeah, big hit there by Nate Sandor. Let's take a look at that hit on the NOMS Access Orthopaedics.
Here comes the boom.
Yeah. Second down and 2. Maybe Port Clinton looks at this as a free play and tries to throw it up deep. And looking, and out there, there's a receiver right into his hands. Gavin Cornell, his second touchdown reception. This one from 53 yards out. He's got a 33-yard touchdown reception. He's got a 53-yard touchdown reception. And Port Clinton leads it 16-2.
All credit to both wide receiver and quarterback there. Absolutely great connection. Receiver ran the route to perfection. Open, and quarterback put it right on the money. Strides into the end zone untouched. Gavin Cornell's second touchdown of the day.
Adam Fitt on to add the extra point as we're just halfway through the second quarter. Snap, hold, the kick is up, and the kick is good. So timeout on the field, 5:56 remaining opening half. Port Clinton leads at 17-2.
Port Clinton, 17.
welcome back. Thanks for joining us live and free all the time on the OH Report YouTube or Facebook page. As not the start that Coach Chris Dowdy had hoped for. And I can guarantee you, week 1 and week 2, he's not going to see competition like that until the OHSA state playoffs. That one fielded Norwalk St. Paul. Taking it there was Wyatt Hauser. Wyatt playing some cornerback, and Wyatt's going to get it out to about the 25-yard line. That's where St. Paul will take over, first down and 10.
Short kick there.
Yeah.
Good job by Wyatt recovering that and starting to head upfield, but I'd say good special teams coverage for Port Clinton to get him down pretty close to after he got the ball.
You see there one of my favorite people, Kellie Deeter, sponsored the scoreboard here for our 5 St. Paul football games. And also Kellie stepped up, doing a little bit of Monroeville. She's doing some St. Paul volleyball. So a fabulous first-term state representative representing Huron, and a little bit Brandon over there in Lorraine, a little bit of Lorraine County.
Absolutely.
Third handoff up the middle, and there's just not a whole lot there. But look at big number 71, Julian Curry, 6'1", 260.
He's been involved several times now, not only on the rushing attack for the Flyers. He's been good in that, but also has been involved in passes, really getting in the backfield, causing a lot of problems for that offensive line.
I don't know if Julian Curry has brothers or sisters, but I guarantee you that nobody got their fingers too close to his plate at the dinner table. He is a good-sized fella. Second down and 8 for the Flyers. Handoff, but boy, defensively, getting into that backfield. Pinkleton's there, also there. Liam Johnson. Casey Freeze, the ball carrier there for St. Paul, just a freshman.
A lot of room there on the outside, at least at the start. Quickly, Port Clinton shifted over to that right-hand side for them and got a lot of people on the ball. Flyers really need to get some yards here going on the ground, open up the pass game, and start to see that offense flow a little more.
And with that timeout, 5:05 remaining here in the opening half. Can tell you Freeze is going to be one of those players for St. Paul. Casey Freeze's dad, if not the all-time leading scorer, one of the all-time leading scorers for St. Paul basketball. Played at Ohio Northern for Coach Campy there, a legendary coach, and played in the Final Four, Division III. But, of course, Landon, the senior, he's got Casey coming up, and Casey's going to win 12 letters. He's going to play varsity basketball, and he's going to play varsity baseball. He's playing varsity football here tonight. So with 5:05 to play, Brandon, you and I were talking interesting. They got a drone up here. You wonder if that's one of next week's opponents sneaking in here with that drone, getting some overhead footage.
You know, after the Michigan scandal, you can't really put anything past these teams. Always want to get that competitive advantage.
That drone is not big enough for Connor Stallions to be in, though, so he might be operating it. St. Paul facing third down and 12. 15 seconds on the play clock. Coonley, 3 receivers. It's batted down. Rosberg goes up and catches it as it was tipped in the air and then caught, but caught for about a 2 or 3 yard loss. And I'm not sure what they're saying, if there was a timeout called or not. Yeah, timeout used. Both teams, 2 timeouts remaining, but Port Clinton got Port Clinton down to St. Paul with 2, Port Clinton down to 1, and it will be 4th down. Free's going to be back around his own 10-yard line to kick it. So not the play St. Paul was looking for. I want to tell you our player of the game tonight brought to you by Civista Wealth Management, proudly celebrating 140 years of community banking. Also, Miller Excavating, using the latest technology to provide a full range of earth-moving services for local builders, businesses, and municipalities in Lorraine and Erie County. So, thank you to all those sponsors. We're 150 people watching right now. Welcome. If you're a Port Clinton fan, you probably have a little bit bigger smile on your face. If you're a St. Paul fan, know that St. Paul the last couple of years, they front load their schedule. They're not afraid to play anybody. Edison next week, Port Clinton this week.
Tough matchups.
You know, but it prepares them, if they can get through this healthy, it prepares them for the Firelands Conference schedule. High snap. Freeze is going to get it, and he'll get the punt away, and it's going to go out of bounds. This is going to be about the 35-yard line. Flag on the play, and let's see what this penalty is going to be. Sideline warning, as I think one of the assistant coaches caught it almost in bounds for Port Clinton, and that's what the sideline warning will be. But, again, just a warning, so Port Clinton going to take over, and this time it's going to be a short field. You wonder, they just struck for a touchdown. They got a good defensive stand there. I'm not so sure if they don't come out and open it up here and try to strike quick again.
That would be a big momentum shift for Port Clinton. St. Paul still hanging around. This game is still within reach for them. They have the players on offense to be able to come back, but you feel like if Port Clinton puts one past here, that the momentum really, really shifts into their favor and becomes a tall order for the Flyers to come back.
So it'll be a first down. Pinkleton in the backfield as line of scrimmage at 32. He's 8 yards back at the 40 in the shotgun formation at the 38 is Wyatt Yarborough. In turn, that's actually not Yarborough. That's Landon Lease in at quarterback. And Lease, that's not his first time in at quarterback. They had him in earlier in the game. We'll see if they're going to keep Lease in for a play or two. Yarborough is just a junior. Lease is a sophomore.
Pinkleton split out wide here all the way to the left.
And look, quick pass to Pinkleton, to your point, and just not enough numbers. More blockers there than defenders, and that's going to be good for a first down, a Miller Excavating first down. And the drive continues. Good look on the NOMS Access Orthopaedics replay there. As we'll approach the 4-minute mark as Port Clinton right up the middle. Pinkleton, a good tackle there for St. Paul.
Big hit.
Gunnar Cluding. And that is a good football name. St. Paul's got some great football names. Rocco Rizzo and Gunnar Cluding. Those are definitely on my all-name team this year.
Both coming up big tonight. A lot of big plays from those guys.
They fake to Pinkleton. There's a throw on the slant, and that's going to be close to the end zone. They're going to mark it down. On the slant was Wyatt Seifke. And let's take a look at it here.
Seifke using the full 6'3" body right there to get in front of the Flyers cornerback. Looked like good coverage. It was tight.
Yeah.
Seifke coming up big there.
That's 5'8" against 6'3". That's, Lease just throw it up there. And Cornell, that's going to be Pinkleton who's going to go in untouched. And Port Clinton right now starting to run away from St. Paul here, and we still are in the first half as they lead at 23-2. The question was with St. Paul, could they handle Pinkleton? It's been more the passing game that's given them trouble there. Pinkleton goes in from basically the goal line untouched.
Strong passing game makes you respect the run and the pass. Tough to defend both at the same time, and I think that's definitely being in Port Clinton's favor here thus far in the first half.
Adam Fitt on to actually new kicker. It's going to be Landon Lease.
Quarterback on the drive.
Yeah, he quarterbacked that drive. Not sure if anything's wrong with Wyatt Yarborough. High snap.
Fake here.
And keeping it is Dylan Reynolds, and Reynolds is going to get to the corner. And just inside the pylon, Reynolds is going to add 2 with the 2-point conversion. 3:32 to play here. Opening half, it's Port Clinton 25 and St. Paul 2. And back we are at Contractor Stadium. Chris Bliley along with Brandon Bliley as, you know, St. Paul needs to answer here if they want to have any shot at coming back here in the second half.
Big drive here for the Flyers. At this point, need to stop the bleeding, get back on the attack. The defense, prior to these last two drives, had been holding up very serviceably. Took a few punches here recently. See what they can do on offense.
Kick is away. Pocus takes it, leaps over one defender, and he is going to be met out and around the 26-yard line. And that's where St. Paul will take over, first down and 10. This is not the kind of clock that St. Paul usually is comfortable trying to move it down the field. They like to chew up yards, you know, 3-4 yards in a pile of dust, but they'll probably have to go through the air. Stick around. It's coming up at halftime, the RMH Concrete Foundations halftime show, but we're going to hear from both Port Clinton and Norwalk St. Paul's marching brass bands. So first down and 10, St. Paul. Ball on the 27. And another stoppage of play. I'm not sure what for.
No flags on the field. That's a relief to see.
That's right. So I think they're talking about the drone. They both looked up. Either way, they're going to redo the time clock and say, let's run it. And then another whistle. They'll say, huddle back up. So St. Paul not the start that they wanted. This officiating crew, maybe not the start they wanted either here.
A lot of shoulders that are going to be sore tomorrow.
They say it's not us.
3:26 to go, and now back to live action here. Turn handoff, and again, just nowhere to run. Popping it outside and getting it actually second effort from that ball carrier, Landon Freeze, but he had to work to get those 4 yards.
That was a gritty 4 yards, absolutely. Play started left. Didn't see much there. Lots of white Port Clinton Redskins jerseys on that side of the field. Makes a strong cut back to the right-hand side. Even makes a man miss on his way. That's a hard 4 yards earned there. Sets up for a much more manageable second down where the Flyers have been playing from behind the sticks thus far in this game.
Under 2:45, Coonley rolling out. Now he's got to roll back to the right. He's looking, he's got a little bit of room, and he's going to take it to the sideline where he picks up 2. Good pancake block there as Gunnar Cluting laying on top of Noah Solis on the pancake block. I believe it was Sandusky, Ohio's own Orlando Pace that came up with the pancake block. He probably should have trademarked that.
Pancake King, and
people use it all the time.
Ohio State legend.
Third down and 4 for the Flyers. They need a first down in a bad way. The throw to the outside. Freeze is going to catch it. Good for first down yardage. Little stiff arm. And Landon's going to get it out over the 45-yard line to the 46. Because that stiff arm got him 2 extra yards. There you see it.
Good play call and a reprieve for the Flyer faithful here. Been a lot of first downs off of penalties. Nice to see the team moving the ball to pick up the extra yardage and move those sticks forward.
Absolutely. So St. Paul, Lindenberger split to the left. Rosbert Freeze to the right. Pocus is on the hip of Coonley, and they'll throw it outside to Freeze, and it's going to be caught over midfield at the 48. That's going to be good for 6 yards, and it'll be second down and 4. You remember St. Paul had to use a couple timeouts on that defensive stand, and so they're down to 1 timeout, but a couple nice pass and catches here. Coonley to Freeze.
If I'm St. Paul, I think they have enough time. They're quickly getting out of the huddle, looking for these mid-range passing options. Might have an opportunity to open up later, farther down the field here. Let's see what happens.
Coonley straight back. Good job by the offensive line. And then he gets it to Rosbert on the sideline, and Rosbert going to run out of bounds inside the 40 down at the 35. And that's going to be good for a first down. That's an A. Miller Excavating first down. Look at that pass and catch. Coonley to Rosberg.
Feels like this Redskins defense is opening up a bit. St. Paul challenging them through the air, working well here. Seeing Landon Freeze running a lot of passes as a receiver here. He can play all over the field. Interested to see if they get him the ball here soon.
Same look. Coonley back. He's going to throw it long. He's got Lindenberger down the sideline. Lindenberger brings it in inside the 5. Down at the 4. Connor Lindenberger.
That had a pretty spiral on it right there. Great throw and catch.
And St. Paul, I think if you're St. Paul right now, maybe you let this clock run a little bit. You don't want to score too quickly. Certainly you want to score. But Coonley going to take his time as St. Paul sets up first and goal from the 3-yard line.
Taking a deep breath here before they attempt their first and goal play here.
Pocus and Freeze set up straight behind. Handoff. Pocus picks and chooses his hole. And right there, they're going to bring him down about the line of scrimmage, maybe even a half-yard loss. That interior defensive line, led by number 67, Eli Cuevas, also in there from his linebacker position, Aiden Meester, doing a great job on that right side.
Well, I think St. Paul has established that it feels like they're going to be the last ones to touch the ball this half.
Yep.
Certainly letting the clock run down here.
2nd down and 3. Coonley gonna jump pass it. He's got Rosberg out there. It's tipped and knocked away.
Pretty risky there.
I was gonna say just before that play, give a lot of credit to the St. Paul offensive line. They've kept Coonley clean on this drive so far, and they've been able to move it downfield. That time a little blitz from the corner on the outside. And now it brings up an interesting scenario here. You're St. Paul, you're trailing by 23. It's a non-conference game. To me, it's 4-down territory. You don't want to settle for a field goal here.
Absolutely, and worst case scenario, you don't get any points, but you're probably not going to give the opportunity for Port Clinton to get points on the board here with such little time left.
3rd goal for the Flyers. Pocus on Coonley's left hip. Coonley straight back. Corner blitz coming. Coonley rolls. He's got in the backfield. He throws it back in the end zone. Touchdown, St. Paul.
The home crowd is loving it here. What a catch.
Levi Rosberg 3 or 4 steps up the ladder to bring it in for the Flyer touchdown. And that is a Miller Excavating St. Paul Flyer touchdown. Let's take a look here on the NOMS Access Orthopaedics replay. And boy, buying a lot of time there. Coonley, give Coonley a lot of credit.
Coonley with the shimmy there, bought himself extra time, continued the rollout to the right side. The receiver knew what he was trying to do, working to the back corner of that end zone, doing a great job of getting open, coming down with the big catch. Flyers score with only 27 seconds left here in the first half. Great drive in short amount of time there, Chris.
St. Paul going to use their timeout here. The offense stays on the field. Looks like they're going to go for 2. You know, you kick the extra point. It's a 16-point game. I think he'd like to get the. This down under 16 to 15, as Port Clinton just hit on their 2-point conversion on their last touchdown. But St. Paul into the end zone for the first time, and very good drive.
Regardless of the outcome of this 2-point attempt here, if you're the Flyers, you're at least taking some momentum into the locker room here at halftime.
Well, you can't have a nickname like the St. Paul Flyers and not have a good air raid offense, and St. Paul showed that passing game on that drive. And they'll wait for the 2-point conversion. Be marked down at about the 3-yard line is where they take it from. Don't forget, you might hear on our ambient mic, St. Paul band down there. We'll have both bands, Port Clinton and the St. Paul marching bands. And after them, we'll have our RMH Concrete Foundations halftime show.
A lot of supporters here on a beautiful night. You could hear it there when St. Paul scored that touchdown. The home crowd got loud.
I think RMH Concrete pretty happy with that Eli Rosberg touchdown. And the try for 2 now, 27 seconds. It's an untimed down, and I'm not sure what that is. It might be procedure on St. Paul.
Looks like a false start here.
False start's going to back him up.
Does that change the decision here for St. Paul? Do they now think I'd rather kick?
I would think it does, but let's see what they decide.
The offense looks like they're staying out there.
They are staying out there. They do. St. Paul does have a good young kicker in Nate Griffin. He's a junior. And ran into Nate's uncle at Thunderbird Driving Range. He was out there hitting some golf balls. He's finally back into the game. I think he is watching from home. So, Tim, glad you're back at the range. 3 or 4 years of taxidermy, and he's finally got some time to play some golf.
Well, Coonley has ran over to the sidelines.
Yep.
Looked like he got a play. Was heading back into the offense, and it looks like they're changing their decision here.
Yeah. And they haven't started the play clock yet, so St. Paul's going to trot out Nate Griffin, number 12 on the back of his jersey. Holder for the Flyers. Going to be number 5, Zach Roth. Down, the kick is up, and it splits the uprights.
Woo! That would have been good from distance.
Yeah, we'll keep it right here as just 27 seconds remain in the opening half, and St. Paul has drawn within a 2-score game now at 25-9. But, you know, St. Paul, you got Coonley. He's going to be a 3-year starter. And I know everybody at St. Paul is like, hey, we run the ball. But, boy, that was a really well-executed drive. Kudos to the offensive line there for keeping Coonley upright.
Yeah, I think for Coonley and this Flyer offense as a whole, confidence is going to be key, and that drive has got to instill a lot of it. I mean, you march down the field, I would say running clearly is the Flyers' motive. They really like to ground and pound, do an excellent job of it, a lot of really strong backs. But when you have to go the length of the field here and you're playing catch-up from a strong Port Clinton team, that is a very impressive drive they put together, under pressure, trailing with just a little amount of time. And looks like they timed it up pretty well, gave Port Clinton only a few seconds here for their final drive of the half here.
On that opening kickoff, Griffin pooch kicked it. You wonder if St. Paul would try an onside kick here, trailing by 16. They do get the ball to start the second half, and after that drive, maybe they just kick it away. I'm going to guess when Port Clinton comes out with the football that St. Paul's going to have a lot of players back, preventing those 33 and 53-yard catches.
Absolutely. I'm not sure if the camera picked it up, but these St. Paul cheerleaders have cannons down there as they are launching balls deep into the stands here. Almost caught one up here in the press box.
And I do want to mention we're surrounded by media royalty here. Josh and Mark from K96 to our left. We'll have halftime stats from Mark Hazelwood of the Norwalk Reflector. This is going to get back to Pinkleton. Pinkleton's got room, seam up the middle, bounces it to the outside, and Pinkleton going to be dragged down around the 40-yard line with 17 seconds to go. And boy, take a look here on replay.
Great kick.
Yeah, taken at about the 16-yard line. That's going to go for 44-yard kick return, and Griffin had to come up and make the tackle.
Middle of the field opened up there after Pinkleton got the ball. A good kick, low to the ground, bounces up. Definitely gave the kicking team time to get down there, but a great return by Pinkleton.
Both teams with only one timeout remaining. Let's not forget Adam Fitt, equally a good kicker. So you pick up 15 yards here, and it's probably in Adam Fitt territory.
I'm looking at Gavin Cornell here. If I'm this Flyer defense, he's been the man scoring through the air. Keep an eye on him.
Well, Landon Lease, quarterback, and Lease going to throw it long and out there, and St. Paul couldn't see the football, and Gavin Cornell goes up, high points it, and takes it into the end zone for the touchdown. And that's just a matter of some young defensive backs for St. Paul. They're going to get better at that, but boy, you know, right now, Lease and the Port Clinton Redskins recognize that, and they are throwing the long ball. That one good for about 40 yards, Brandon. Cornell, not one, not two, but 3 touchdown receptions. One for over 30, one for over 40, and one for over 50. And the kick is blocked. And we're going to keep it right here. But boy, any momentum that the Flyers had there is gone. And on that Cornell, I was surprised that the safety back there wasn't able to just kind of, you know who's getting the ball, Cornell.
Surprised there wasn't a deeper starting position, so that way you can kind of play ball hawk and see where the pass goes, make a reaction. It looked like the safety was actually backing up as that ball was coming in, didn't have a great look at it. But, I mean, what can you say about Gavin Cornell? He has been unbelievable this first half. Yeah. 3 touchdown catches, and might I add, these aren't short catches either. These have been some really deep balls. I mean, 40 yards, 33 to open up the scoring for Port Clinton, and a 53-yard catch after that. He has been a machine, especially in this second quarter, probably close to 100 yards receiving on just touchdown passes alone.
30, 40, and 50. He's at 120 on just touchdown receptions. 33, 53 for 86 and another 40. He's got 126 yards on his just 3 touchdown receptions.
A lot of scoring here in the second quarter, 4 touchdowns. A lot of points just in these last 30 seconds, 2 of them.
Gavin Cornell heard that the OH report was in the house, and he said, fellas, consider me for the Civista Wealth Management MVP player of the game. So see if St. Paul can answer with a good kick return here. You might have heard that in the background. That is not Norwalk Raceway Park. There is no drag racing tonight. There's a line drive kick that's going to be fielded, and having to go to his knee was Landon Freeze to take it. Now, I'm guessing if you're St. Paul here, you're taking a knee and getting this thing to halftime and go down there and talk about it.
Well, the offense should be feeling better after their last drive. Defense coming off a little sore after that one play, after a really great Pinkleton return on the kickoff, set that up for a really long Gavin Cornell touchdown. Hopefully the offense can take what they did on that last drive, bring in some positive momentum, and come out firing on all cylinders in the second half. Maybe still to see a play here of interest, but my money would be on the Flyers maybe having a conservative run and taking that into the halftime.
So St. Paul turns hands off, running with the football, pouncing it to the outside is Freeze. And Freeze is going to get it out across to the 15-yard line, but that will bring us to the end. You can see on the Kellie Deeter scoreboard there at half, it's Port Clinton 31, St. Paul 9. Up next is our RMH Concrete Foundations halftime show.
I didn't think our staff would even notice that we switched cleaning companies, but they did right away. They noticed that the office was cleaner, that things were bright, more vibrant, and that created a more positive working environment for us. There's always a potential to spread illness if our building isn't as clean as it possibly could be. Having Pinnacle in our building to make sure that it's as clean and safe and healthy as it can be helps us take the best care of our patients. It's family owned and operated, they're local, which means a lot to us.
Hey, does your checking account pay you with real cash rewards with no monthly maintenance fees ever? Bummer. Ask for Kasasa Rewards Checking. It's our superpower.
were expecting the bands here on the RMH Concrete Foundations halftime show, but the officials have decided, how about a little more live and free football on the OH report, as a penalty is going to bring us back. We were in commercial when St. Paul tried to run a little hook and ladder. We weren't going to come back with it, but then a penalty on the play. So, hey, unsportsmanlike conduct on the Redskins.
Always a fan of more free football. Actually, a very clever play that the Flyers had drawn up. Looked like they went for a deep pass to Landon Freeze, a little hook and ladder action. When the laddering ball came back, a little bit of a dropped ball there, but definitely an interesting play. This unsportsmanlike conduct penalty, not that we haven't seen plenty of those this first half, is really going to move the Flyers into better territory. Going to be an untimed play here.
This will be an untimed down. I'm already in halftime mode. I see a young St. Paul Flyer fan here with some cheese corn. I'm thinking about watching the band with him and having a little bit of his cheese corn. But again, untimed down. Free football here from Warren H. Whitney Field Contractors Stadium. And not sure, they're still discussing it over there.
Well, if the last 27 seconds of play in this first half have been any indication, we could see some fireworks here. Seems like St. Paul isn't just going to take a knee. They might go for it here.
I didn't get the list of the names of the officials, the referee in that, and so I apologize if I know any of them. But it's you can tell it's their first game of the year also. Oh, yeah, well, that's true. They probably worked a game last night, Dave Bliley said. I agree with that. So they're here tonight. And
gonna have to ice down those shoulders tonight.
So here we go, untimed down. St. Paul, see if they, two receivers split to the left, one to the right.
Keep an eye on Landon Freeze here, split out left.
Straight back, here comes a blitz. They're going to throw it long down the sideline, and nobody there. And with that, no flags. We have reached halftime, and coming up next, we'll have the bands on the RMH Concrete and Foundations halftime show.
I didn't think our staff would even notice that we switched cleaning companies, but they did right away. They noticed that the office was cleaner, that things were bright, more vibrant, and that created a more positive working environment for us. There's always a potential to spread illness if our building isn't as clean as it possibly could be. Having Pinnacle in our building to make sure that it's as clean and safe and healthy as it can be helps us take the best care of our patients. It's family owned and operated, they're local, which means a lot to us.
Hey, does your checking account pay you with real cash rewards with no monthly maintenance fees ever? Bummer. Ask for Kasasa Rewards Checking. It's our superpower.
Journey through dance music for over the years. We open our show with a medley from the renowned group Earth, Wind & Fire. Formed in 1969, Earth, Wind & Fire quickly rose to prominence with their distinctive sound and energetic music, featuring their hits from 1979 and 1978. Here is The Stone and September. American singer, songwriter, and musician and recording producer. Regarded as a pop icon, Mars is known for his energetic live performances, retro showmanship, and musical versatility. Our next selection is a cool disco pop and funk elements with a driving beat that'll make you want to move your feet. Featuring Madrid, Allie Puffenberger, be sure to move and groove to Uptown Funk. Port Clinton High School marching band. We'd like to thank you for dancing with us right now. Easy. Introducing the St. Paul Marching Brass under the direction of Mr. Jacob Conley, Mr. Robert Chantrell. The band is now on the field tonight by President Ali Takis, Vice President Kellie and Secretary Jillian Wilnow. Ladies and gentlemen, your 2025 Marching Flyers. Tonight we present you a rap show with hits from the 70s, 80s, and today. We begin with the 1978 song from the B-52s. The song launched the band's career and became one of their signature tunes. Please enjoy our band playing a rousing rendition of the funky smash hit, Rock Lobster. This song was her first top 10 hit in the United States, peaking at #1 on the U.S. Rock Tracks chart. Selling well over 1 million copies, this is one of Pat Benatar's most iconic and recognizable tracks. Here is Hit Me With Your Best Shot. through the ages of rock music all the way to 2013 in a band called Fall Out Boy. After a 3-year hiatus starting in 2010, Fall Out Boy came back onto the scene in a big way with this last song. Certified as triple platinum by the end of the year, the song was named Sirius XM's #1 song of 2013 and is still instantly recognizable 12 years later. It's one of those songs that's just impossible to not sing along to. For our final act tonight, we hope you enjoy our band lighting it up with My Songs Know What You Did in the Dark.
I didn't think our staff would even notice that we switched cleaning companies, but they did right away. They noticed that the office was cleaner, that things were bright, more vibrant, and that created a more positive working environment for us. There's always a potential to spread illness if our building isn't as clean as it possibly could be. Having Pinnacle in our building to make sure that it's as clean and safe and healthy as it can be helps us take the best care of our patients. It's family owned and operated, they're local, which means a lot to us.
For Gavin Cornell, as he had an incredible first half of action, 33-yard touchdown pass. Here you're going to see the 33, and that was Landon Lease. So, you know, Yarborough went out of the game early, and he hasn't been back in. Cornell kind of doing the LeBron James, not one, not two, but three. Here is the 53-yarder as he races down the left sideline and outruns two defensive backs. And then for good measure, here is the actually I think this is the touchdown run from Malakii Pinkleton from 1 yard. And then we'll look at the fourth touchdown. Actually, here's a great play from Coonley to Rosberg as Flyers get on the board. Right before halftime, you thought, well, all the momentum is on St. Paul's side. You know, they've cut it to 25-9, but then with right around 27 seconds remaining, up top they go, and then going up and out jumping the Flyer defensive backs was Gavin Cornell, as Cornell just had a big first half. And big thank you to our halftime sponsor, also sponsoring the pre and the post game, RMH Concrete and Foundation. Brandon Ehrenberg on camera, our producer Adam, Brandon Bliley alongside Chris Bliley here as second half of week one coming to an end here. Thanks for joining us live and free on the OH Report YouTube and Facebook channel. And kicking away is going to be, you know, Port Clinton's used two quarterbacks. They've used two kickers. Landon Lease kicks this one away, and it's going to roll down. Freeze is going to pick it up. Freeze pops it outside, and it's going to get it out over the 20-yard line, and that's where St. Paul is going to take over, first down and 10. Again, thank you for watching our halftime show, the bands here tonight, Port Clinton and St. Paul. Doing a great job.
Chris, you got to think, if St. Paul really wants to make a run at it here in the second half, setting the tempo early, specifically on this drive, is going to be just ultra important to really say we're not just going to fade away and we're going to come in here, we're going to gain some yards, we're going to try to score some points.
Coonley threw it 14 times in that first half. It was dropped back 14 times. He probably dropped back about 18 times. He was sacked probably 3 or 4 times, but he ended up 7 of 14 for 74 yards and a touchdown. Eli Rosberg was his favorite receiver, as Rosberg had 4 catches for 22 yards and the touchdown. Individually, Pocus 5 carries for 34 yards for Nick. So no gain on that play. It'll be second down and 10 for the Flyers. Again, that full house backfield. Port Clinton bunched up tight. Hand off to Freeze. Freeze runs left, cuts it back right, and Freeze gets out over the 25 to the 28.5-yard line, which is going to be good for a gain of 4, and it's going to set up third down and 6.
Port Clinton stacking the box there. I thought I saw 5 down linemen. I think they're calling that St. Paul is going to run it here.
Yeah.
Played into their hands a little bit there. Still pick up a few yards, help make this a much more manageable third down.
It'll be interesting. St. Paul ran it once, and Port Clinton was in the right spot. St. Paul's had some success over the last couple of years running the screen. This one's going to be a quick out to Lindenberger, and they're going to give him first down yardage as he ran a great route there. Sometimes guys cut that off about a yard short. Good look at it here on the NOMS Access Orthopaedics.
Good spot there by the official, just across that first down marker. Good pass, good catch. Flyers pick up a first down. Positive momentum starting to march down the field here. Moved the ball very well through the air during that very closing seconds of the first half for the Flyers, and a lot of that credit to the passing game.
So again, if somebody's running a route, they're running it out of the split end or out of a tight bunch formation. That a handoff, and they haven't had a lot of success running over the left side.
Left side seems very tough right now. I think there's a clear, you can see this on camera, there's a big size difference here.
Yes, there
the
is.
Offensive line of the St. Paul Flyers, known for being very good with form, explosive off the ball. What they lack is size. Can't coach size. That's difficult. They do a great job with what they have, and then you look across them, and the Redskins have got some big boys up there.
Yeah, that was a big trade under Coach Livengood. It's also, under Coach Dowdy. Been a long time on this Flyers staff. Coonley straight back to pass. He's going to throw it down the left side, and Lindenberger kept running, and the pass landed on the 40, and Lindenberger was on the 30.
Some contact, but looked like it was an uncatchable one there.
We got a lot of St. Paul legends up here in the press box with us. One of them, Jeff Nikolai, just left. You're going to have to give Brian Skoronsky his name for a sponsorship. I don't want to mention his company name because he hasn't given anything yet, but Brian will be on the phone with him next week, Adam. So 3rd down and 9 for the St. Paul Flyers.
Landon Free split out right here.
Opening drive of this second half. Again, good protection and a good route, but just not able to hold on as Lindenberger. And Connor holds his hands out in front of him, looks at him, and knows he should have had that one. And that's going to set up 4th down for the Flyers. And it'll be a punting opportunity. Look at that there. Boy, Coonley put it right on the numbers.
Right on the money. That's a good pass. And again, I think this is starting to build. Coonley's getting some confidence here.
Yeah.
Stepping back, making some confident throws. You can't control what happens after the ball leaves your hand, but he's putting his teammates in a good position to make a play on the ball.
So 4th down and 9. Flyers took 2 minutes and 30 seconds off of the 3rd quarter clock. And back there deep is Christian Miller. Miller's going to take it on the 24. Miller bounces it to the outside and is going to be brought down as he gets the ball out across the 35-yard line. And that's where it will be 1st down and 10 for Port Clinton.
Good punt for Landon Freeze there. That one looked like it got some nice distance.
And I'm guessing, I'm curious to look over there. I don't even remember now, to tell you the truth, Brandon. Maybe Wyatt Yarborough just didn't start the game. We've seen Lease out there a bunch, but ever since midway through the 1st quarter, it's been Landon Lease at quarterback.
And doing a great job at it. I mean,
Yes.
He's been throwing these touchdown passes. We give all the credit to Gavin Cornell, as it's well-deserved. But Lease putting the ball right on him. Another good pass right there.
A lot of room there on that slant as the Flyers give him about 15 yards. And Martez Wilson gets his 2nd catch. Connor Lindenberger brings him down. And
tempo here.
That's tough. You got to bring an athlete like Wilson down in space. Pinkleton on the carry is going to be brought down after a 3-yard gain. So we had talked about he was our featured spotlight player. Pinkleton in that first half, just 11 carries and 27 yards. So, not the numbers you would have thought, but that Flyer defense really done a good job keying on him. No handoff, Pinkleton again. Great cutback. Oh, big jump cut there by Pinkleton. And he ran a long ways there to get 7 yards.
Give credit to Pinkleton, though, on the defensive side of the ball. He forced a turnover as well, so it is impressive seeing these guys play at both sides of the ball.
And here they'll run tempo again. St. Paul trying to get out there. This has got run up the middle. And St. Paul may have stopped him short. I believe they did. It's going to be 4th down. I would think with this 22-point lead, Port Clinton's going to stand up here and say, we're bigger up front. We're going to challenge you to stop us again. I did want to mention Port Clinton quarterbacks in that first half, 8 of 14, 183 yards and 3 touchdowns. Cornell, 126 yards on all the touchdowns. And here's Lease. Lease gets into that Flyer backfield. Got through the defensive line and then carries defenders all the way to the 26-yard line. It's going to be a Miller Excavating down.
Landon Lease, powerful going through the middle there. Not the first time you've seen that quarterback run. Well-designed play.
Lease looking. He's going to throw it out down that left sideline, and good coverage out there by Eli Rosbert.
Getting it done on the offensive and defensive side of the ball. Levi had that really nice corner touchdown catch actually in the end zone that he was just defending there. Good coverage, keeping out the Port Clinton Redskins' potent offense.
That was Wyatt Siefke that intended pass. And again, we talked about Siefke, good-sized kid, 6'3", 200 pounds. And outside Pinkleton. Pinkleton cuts it back, runs over, stays on his feet. What balance from Pinkleton. And he's going to get it forward for about 14 yards and another Miller Excavating Redskin first down.
I know we have some NCAA football players out there. That's the hit stick, lowering it, asserting himself there on that run outside to the left.
So first down and 10 from the 11 for Cornell, and Cornell has got 4. Lease to Cornell. That's got law firm written all over it. Lease and Cornell, as they've connected 4 times here in basically 2.5 quarters. Let's take a look at it here on the Access Orthopaedics replay. And boy, just ran past the Flyer defense there, and perfect throw on the money. And that's going to take it out to 37-9. Port Clinton had, if they would have chose, they could have gone for 2 and had a running clock. They do not decide, and they have their second kick in a row blocked. We're going to take timeout on the field. 6:58 to play here, third quarter. It's all Redskins. Port Clinton 37 and St. Paul 9. And welcome back to Warren H. Whitney Field at Contractor Stadium. The Redskins, after St. Paul had taken some momentum back, scoring with about 45 seconds to go in the first half. Port Clinton strikes on a 40-yard touchdown pass, and then they hold St. Paul here on their first offensive possession, and they score on an 11-yard touchdown pass to Cornell, and Lease is going to kick it away. Pocos is going to field it, and Pocos good yards up the right side, and he runs hard.
Third or fourth one of those today. Yeah. He's been definitely the main target for returning these punts and kickoffs. Done an excellent job, mainly down this right-hand side here for the Flyers.
You want to bring down Nick Pocos, you got to go low on him. He runs hard. So St. Paul, again here, 6:59 to play third quarter. They trail by 4 touchdowns at this point, 28. Certainly don't want to get anybody injured. You're probably not coming back from 28 down against a powerhouse like Port Clinton has shown tonight. So maybe St. Paul tries to establish the ground game here in the third quarter. And there's a good handoff, good start to it. And Pocos jumps out of a leg tackle and actually gets it out to the 43-yard line. That's good for 6.5, maybe 7.
Credit to the O-line there. Now that is a hole where these running backs for the St. Paul Flyers can really excel, pass through the line and start to pick up yardage.
Well, and we talked, you know, they've been running over the left side. That success over the right side there.
Going short side of the field again here.
And that's going to be brought down. I believe they're going to give him a first down. As the side judge, Casey Freeze, the freshman on the carry, gets 4 yards. Trying to remember the last freshman for St. Paul that got a lot of carries in the backfield. You talk about backfields at Norwalk St. Paul. Wow, you are talking about some unbelievable backs. Yeah, I think of the Pugh brothers. I think of the Stahl brothers. I think of Matt Wild.
I think of Michael Griffin the year that they won
Griffin.
state.
I think of Pickens. You know, and I know I'm missing a lot of the ones here of late. There's Kazo, Pocus. Just a lot of good backs. And I know I'm missing someone out there, and apologies. But St. Paul going to that ground game here. And, again, I think Coach Dowdy, if he can come out of this, maybe tack on 1 or 2 scores here and build some momentum for the Chargers next week and get through that Charger game. They're going to have to face a bruising back in Bryson Whitmer next week. He is a Louisville commit to play baseball. And fake this time. Back to pass, rolling, being pursued. Runs out of one tackle and gets back to the line of scrimmage. On the pursuit there was Meisner.
Might have got pulled back for a few yards there.
Yeah. Meisner's had a nice game from his linebacker position.
Regardless of the outcome of this game, St. Paul's got a lot to play for here. As you mentioned, tough schedule, but this is early season. Clearly, from the amount of flags that we've seen this game, both teams have a lot to work on to clean up. These are great minutes to be able to work on those types of items, work on packages, plays.
Back to pass.
Great pocket presence there.
Now he rolls back, looking, and then just gets it. I think he got it to the line of scrimmage. And if he did, there's no penalty. And somewhere underneath the home stands, there's a skunk running around. So take a look here on replay. And he does get it back to about the 48-yard line. So
that is good
that,
awareness for the quarterback.
4th down, and it looks like well, I can't tell. Griffin's out there for St. Paul. Maybe Griffin is going to drop back in punt formation.
Coonley running a lot on this drive here. Offensive line's been under a lot of pressure. Thought he's done a good job in the pocket.
Actually, Griffin's in, and he's going to be split out wide to the left. 3 receivers to the left. Line needed to gain is 43. And again, we're going to have a holding call. And Griffin makes a tough catch. Good for the first down, but unfortunately, the yellow, terrible Steeler towel on the field is going to bring it back. Browns, AFC champions in the preseason, went 3-0 today with a come-from-behind victory. Field goal on the final play.
When's the parade?
Yeah, parade before the opener against the Bengals, before Burrow throws for about 450 against them. And holding is the call. Now the punt team will come out because they got to march back even further.
Again, when the quarterback has had time to set his feet and make a throw, looked like they had a really nice completion down the field for the first down and first down yardage. Penalties rearing its head again for these St. Paul Flyers, really killing a lot of the momentum they're trying to establish here in the second half.
Adam, before he drove up here from Mansfield today, said certainly this game will probably take 2 hours, 2 hours and 15 minutes. Didn't know with all the flags he was going to need a battery backup for his headset. Who'd have thought? Kick is away. It's low. And Miller back there goes to a knee, and now he is down inside the 30, back at the 27. And that's where Port Clinton will take over 1st and 10. You can see 4:47 on the Kellie Deeter scoreboard. Port Clinton 37 and St. Paul 9. Take a look at the St. Paul Flyers schedule there. Next week, a tough one, 1-0 Edison. Then they'll round out what we call, I guess, the non-conference portion of their schedule with Tiffin Calvert, 0-1. There's a handoff, and Pinkleton running backwards there, and then they get into the Firelands Conference schedule. The big one is that Week 5 matchup with Western Reserve. That'd be a good one. Western Reserve got a lot of size up front, a trio of good running backs, and I think a lot of people think Western a slight favorite with Monroeville and St. Paul right there battling.
Going to be a very fun, competitive Firelands Conference this year. Excited to see who emerges from there.
And that time the throw comes out to Lucas Bodie. Yeah, I'm wondering with this 37-9 lead if we won't see maybe some of the younger players get into the game here for Port Clinton. I think they still, some coaches don't like the running clock because it takes time away from some kids who could, use the reps. And there's a pass. Cornell, he was looking for number 5, but that one just overthrown, and Lisa's going to drop back into punt. Take a look at Port Clinton. You can see he'll travel to Fostoria and then travel to Oak Harbor. So all 3 of their games in the non-conference portion on the road before they'll come home to Cleveland Collinwood and then get Clyde. So you look at that schedule there. It's a pretty tough schedule. Sandusky, Edison, Huron and Oak Harbor loaded. They went to overtime 52-46 last night. So 3:47 to play here, third quarter. 4th down and 10 for Port Clinton. Back deep, Landon Freeze.
Very uncharacteristic drive there for the Port Clinton Redskins.
Yeah, almost blocked.
Maybe even a tip.
Yeah, off the side of his foot, but it takes a Redskin bounce, and wow, that thing's going to roll inside the 40 down to the 39-yard line. Looked like St. Paul might take over in Redskin territory, but instead it's going to be Flyer football on the 39-yard line.
Credit to the special teams here for St. Paul causing some troubles there. Have blocked 2 extra points.
Yes.
Look like they almost got home there for a punt block. Might have even gotten a tip. Unfortunate roll out there if you're a Flyer fan, but the special teams has held up well for St. Paul.
I think both of these coaches realize, although the final, the winner or loser of this game probably not in doubt, the final score may be in doubt, but these are great teaching moments for these kids, and the kids out there are working hard, bouncing it to the outside there on the carry, and another flag.
That will be coming back.
As it looks like Wyatt Seifke being dragged down there by 2 Flyers. And with that holding, it's going to move him back and bring up 1st down and 20.
Looked like Nate Sandor was trying to take his lunch money there.
Yeah. On that carry there for St. Paul was the freshman, called his name a couple times, Abel Couch.
That's another great football name, Chris.
That is a great football game. I can tell you one thing, in about 45 minutes, this boy is going to be on a couch, hopefully watching some college football. It's the first week of college football. Well, that's true. There's a handoff up the middle, goes Casey Freeze. If the second half flag fiasco is anything like the first half, it might be 11 o'clock before I see that couch. So pickup is 3, 2nd down and 16. They'll give them 4 on the carry.
Sure, everybody's just excited as we are. Football season is back and underway. This is a very fun time of year for all of us football fans. Already
Absolutely.
been a good, fun, exciting game to start off this season. Plenty more action to come from both of these teams.
Oh, big time hit there from Cornell.
Whew. I'm not just a receiver, Coach. I make big hits on defense.
Abel Couch, meet Gavin Cornell. Tell you what, though, he's a freshman. He hopped right up and went right back to the huddle.
See it here on the replay. Sweep out to the right, and boom! That is a tackle that will make your coach happy and get your sideline fired up.
So that's going to bring up third down and 16 now for the Flyers, as the clock goes inside 2 minutes. Drop back, looking, throws the out, and making the nice catch out there is Nate Griffin.
Great passing catch there. Coming across the middle of the field, not far enough to be able to get the first down, but pick up a lot of yards Going to be close here. My guess is they're probably going to go for it on 4th down.
All right, now, Brandon, you like watching movies. This might have been a Saturday night skit, but I need more cowbells. They've got cowbells in front of us. You remember that skit? I forget the actor, but said,
Christopher Walken.
Christopher Walken, I need some more cowbells. We got a lot of cowbells on that catch there by Nate Griffin. Griffin makes 2 nice catches. The first one didn't count because of a holding penalty, but
regardless of the score here, St. Paul's home crowd has been backing their side the whole game.
yeah, they always do. So 4th down and 3, and Griffin's going to make the catch. So Nate, 3rd catch.
Coonley slinging it out there.
Yeah.
That was a rocket in there.
Nate said he's not just a kicker.
Great ball there on the replay. Quick pass. Definitely had Redskins lurking there. Starting to find a familiar target.
Yeah. Nate Griffin coming in with 2 nice catches. Now he's split out wide to the left. 1st down and 10 for the Flyers. And getting offsides is coming a little early there was Liam Johnson, 6'2" defensive end. And that sets up St. Paul with a 1st down and 5 now. Again, this would be a big, big score here for St. Paul. You're trying to build some momentum going in, taking on the Chargers next week over in Milan.
If I'm Grant Coonley, you know, I might be interested in looking towards number 16, Connor Lindenberger. I think he's the tallest guy out on the field at 6'4".
Oh, there's Couch. Couch picks his way, breaks through 1 tackle, and hits the close to the 35-yard line. They're going to say he stayed in bounds, and he's just shy of the 1st down, but that's going to be 2nd down and 1. Couch running hard.
Size not an issue there, only 5'9", but man, he went through the hole hard, picked up a big gain on 1st down, and just a minute ago you were thinking Flyers backed up, 3rd and long, complete a nice pass down for a 4th down, just opportunity to stay on the field, pick up a nice gain there, and they continue moving down.
Coonley back, looks Lindenberger, and throw to the sideline, and Lindenberger, almost made the catch. But,
credit to the secondary there. That ball was well placed, had an opportunity, but made some really good contact there to disrupt the play.
Almost a St. Paul kind of looking at that as a free play, you know, because it's 2nd down. Now they're talking. I'm not sure what they're talking about. I did want to mention you've seen, you know, the freshmen in the backfield this drive, as you've seen Abel Couch and Casey Freeze. Don't think anything of that. I mean, the bell cow carriers for this team are going to be Landon Freeze and Nick Pocus. I think Coach Dowdy realizes that they're not going to come back and win, and he wants to limit the number of hits on those 2 fellas by having them carry the ball up the middle.
Yeah, I'd say it's dual purpose. You know, you want to save reps for them, keep them nice and fresh. Long season ahead. We're just at the very beginning of this, but also opportunity for these younger guys to make a name for yourself, make a big play.
You know, I think Mike Lilgy from K96, he's right down next to the huddle down there. They ought to get him in. You see him on the microphone. Let Mike go in and say, guys, you're taking a little bit too much time. Let's get this going. Not sure what time pizza delivery shuts off at, but so penalty, I don't know if they call it offensive pass interference on St. Paul there. I don't know if that's illegal touching or, okay.
There's a penalty against St. Paul for illegal touching.
Yep, illegal touching.
These officials must be getting paid by the hour. This game's been going on forever.
If they're getting paid by the flag, they've got a great Roth IRA. Now, I've learned, you know, I've coached in high school sports, and usually when you coach, your parents of your players hate you. When you officiate, both sets of parents hate you. When you broadcast, you're usually liked. Yes. Yes. Thanks, Adam. 2nd down and 16 for the Flyers.
Well, that probably changes the play call here from a 2nd and short.
Sure does. They fake it in the line. They go right over the middle to Griffin, and Griffin's going to get 18 on the carry.
All the way for the first down. Griffin really picking up some momentum here in the second half. He's got 3 or 4 catches on this drive alone. Coonley finding a familiar target.
Nate Griffin, 4th catch now.
Quick breaking of the huddle. Maybe St. Paul trying to establish some tempo now.
Griffin and Rosbert to the left. Coonley's got a little room. Now he throws it late over the middle, and he connects with Rosbert. And that's good for 7 or 8 yards. And with that, we've come to the conclusion of our 3rd quarter of football here from Contractors Stadium. It's all Redskins. Port Clinton leads St. Paul 37-9.
I didn't think our staff would even notice that we switched cleaning companies, but they did right away. They noticed that the office was cleaner, that things were bright, more vibrant, and that created a more positive working environment for us. There's always a potential to spread illness if our building isn't as clean as it possibly could be. Having Pinnacle in our building to make sure that it's as clean and safe and healthy as it can be helps us take the best care of our patients. It's family owned and operated, they're local, which means a lot to us.
Twelve more minutes of football here from Contractors Stadium. And St. Paul's going to have it as they're driving right now. Finding some good connection. It might not be Least to Cornell, but Coonley to Griffin's been really good late in that 3rd quarter.
Griffin's got the hot hand. He's been catching everything thrown to him. Even on that last play, it looked like Coonley was looking for Griffin to the left side. That got blown up, but a really nice throw back over the middle. Those can be dangerous, but a nice catch.
2nd and 1, maybe a free play. No, they're going to hand off to Couch. Couch picking his way, and here comes a flag, and that usually means holding. And it is going to be holding. I think that's one thing that Coach Dowdy can talk to his guys about is the even though the officiating crew was a little overzealous with the flag, I certainly think he's going to talk to his line about the holding penalty. That's been the favorite call of this officiating crew today. I did want to shout out Norwalk St. Paul's own Tyler Perkins as the Iowa State Cyclones went into Aer Lingus, played in the Aer Lingus College Football Classic in London. And Tyler, a punter for Norwalk St. Paul, starting punter, a senior for Iowa State, booted it well today. Had 3 punts for 145 yards, average 48.3, and 2 inside the 20. So Tyler Perkins, one of the many St. Paul football players to play at the next level, but Tyler at the Division I level. There's Lindenberger wide open down the sideline for the touchdown. Beautiful pass and catch to Connor Lindenberger, and the Air Raid Flyer offense has put up their 2nd touchdown here.
Coonley's going to have to register that arm because that is a weapon right there. What a ball. Lindenberger hovering above everyone else in the defense. Really nice play design there. He was wide open running down the left-hand side. Really good protection as well. All around good play there for the St. Paul Flyers.
Coonley gets the hold down. The Griffin kick is up and in. 11:29 to play here, 4th quarter. St. Paul pulls it to within 21. It's 37-16, Port Clinton. Back to a 3-score game on that 21-yard touchdown pass. Connor Lindenberger on the receiving end of that Grant Coonley dime. Coonley, his second touchdown pass of the day. And let's take a look at it here. Actually, Brandon, that was 34 yards. My apologies. Beautiful. Lindenberger gets past. I'm not sure if Port Clinton was in a zone and nobody was in that back of the zone.
A little bit of room there to make the catch, not under that much pressure.
But 34 yards on that one. So now St. Paul going to go onside. I think they touched it short. And, yeah, out comes the orange tees on the field. As that one just never got to the 50. Let's take a look here. Touched at the 48. Ball was loose. I still don't know who came up with it, but that'll be illegal touching. If Port Clinton recovered it, they'll just decline the penalty and take the ball right there.
Got to say, pretty good onside kick. You like when the ball gets up like that. Give your guys a chance to make a play on it. Just a little too early there for the Flyers, but good overall onside kick.
Cuevas on that touchdown. Hey, we still got the drone out there. It's flying around out like above the goal line right now in the south end zone.
Speaking of backup batteries, that thing should be sponsored. That's a heck of a battery life flying all this time.
Great battery life on that drone. I haven't seen any punts that would go that high today that would lead to that. And now they'll move the ball forward to the 48-yard line where it was illegally touched. And Port Clinton takes over first down and 10. And is that a new quarterback in there, or is that still Lease? Still Lease. Quick throw on the outside, and it's dropped out there by Christian Miller.
Christian Miller looks like he's been, I believe, returning punts has been very quick and agile when the ball has came to him. Just difficult hook up there. It looked like he was coming back to the ball, and Lease was leading him a little bit. Tough catch there.
Cornell not in the game right now. Turn handoff and running hard with the football. I thought it was number 32. It was 33, Ty Henry. He's a freshman. 5'8", 165 pounds.
If I'm a defensive back for St. Paul, I'm pretty excited that Malakii Pinkleton's not running up and down these this field here.
Look, and we're going to get a holding call in there for St. Paul defensively. Bringing him down was number 21. Can't make out that name, Brandon. Who is that? 21.
Ezekiel Dvorak.
All right. The lighting here is getting dark out. And with the loss, I'm not sure. Coach Dowdy might say, let's decline the penalty, take the play.
Seeing him wave his hands as if he's suggesting such.
And
good play there for the defensive line of St. Paul. Haven't made enough ruckus in the backfield yet, I would say. But that was progress right there. I think Coach Dowdy's happy to see his guys get home there, knock down
right now, this officiating crew has got the football marked way forward of where it should be. As it should be in the backfield on the other side of the 50 after that play.
I would mention that while this is all the players' first games, this is also the first game of the officials.
Here, let's take a look. And he is brought down, well, at about the 48-yard line. So
forward progress.
They're giving him a yard.
A little forward progress benefiting the
Coach Dowdy wondering what the heck's going on. Again, though, only 1 yard, so. Back deep for the Flyers, and now a penalty.
Wouldn't be a play without one, Chris.
Start. We might be setting records here tonight for the amount of penalties. Dave, you've been doing games a long time. Have you ever seen this many penalties?
We'll check with the stats department and let you guys know at the end of this one, but certainly a lot of laundry out on the field this game.
So 4th down now and 15. The punt is away. It's going to be taken on the 25-yard line. Now pouncing it and fumbled on the field. St. Paul dies, still loose on the field, still loose, and finally recovered by Port Clinton.
It was in the hands of...
And Chris, I hate to point it out, but I think there's more flags on the field.
Don't stop now, but there is a flag on the play. Usually on the kicking team. Let's see.
I'm astounded. This is something else.
You can't make this up. And let's see what play's going to call. What they're going to call here. I'm listening to our friends from K96 over here, Josh Bowman and Mark Lane. They said this game's going into the 10 o'clock hour. So still talking about it. I don't think I've ever seen an officiating crew get together and discuss a call so much. So
very interesting play there. I mean, bobbled 2 or 3 times before it finally reached.
5 are going to talk about it.
What's the 6th one doing? He's protecting the flag.
While they're here, this will be a good chance to mention our sponsors here tonight. Pinnacle Building Services elevates your professional space with tailored cleaning solutions that promise unmatched quality and reliability. How about Scout Construction Services, LLC? With more than a decade of business, you can trust Scout Construction with your roofing and siding needs. Call Scout Construction for more information, 419-989-7240. And then finally, earn the cash reward. It's your choice for doing simple activities with Kasasa. That's at Sutton Bank. So either way, they're going to move it back. Illegal block in the back. And
folks,
St.
if
Paul,
you're confused,
it's not a turnover, actually.
If you're confused, we are as well. Still sorting this one out here as the ball continually is getting pushed back.
So last night's Plymouth-Lucas game, start to finish, 2 hours and 25 minutes. We are at the 2:45 mark right now, Adam says.
Hey, Mike, is there a full moon out tonight?
37-16, 10:32 to play here, final quarter. And you know what? I do think that Port Clinton's going to win this game, but give St. Paul a lot of credit. I mean, they can get this down to a 2-touchdown game here, you know, with a decent drive here. And I think it's going to require Port Clinton to maybe reinsert some starters that normally wouldn't be there. It's 4th down and forever. As the ball back on the 39-yard line, the line to gain is the opposite 38, so it's 23.
Back deep is Landon Freeze.
And Freeze comes back in. And punt, Freeze going to come up, and he's going to let it bounce. And
another friendly roll there.
Yeah, they've gotten some great rolls here as that one's going to roll inside the 30.
No flags on the play, might I add.
And that's where, with 10:21 to go here in the contest, St. Paul will take over, trailing 37-16. We were hoping to do a little training session here on, but that went out after about the 30th flag. So Adam had a long night last night. The coach's scoreboard call-in show ran a little late. 10 games, 15 other games reported on, and you want to talk about Freaky Friday? That was a Freaky Friday last night. Coonley looks under pressure. Coonley now comes back to the left. Coonley better throw it, and then he puts it up, looking for Landon Freeze, and it's going to fall incomplete.
Coonley showing off his athleticism. He's made guys miss all night. Really scrambling left, scrambling right, has been under a fair bit of pressure. But the last couple of drives, he's looked good. He's delivered the ball on time, in space. guys have been able to make plays on the ball and pick up yards, and that's why the offense has moved rather well when they've been throwing the ball as of late.
I agree with Adam. Some of the starters had a 10 p.m. bedtime, but they're going to have to return actually as the second team had a 10 p.m. bedtime. So the starters returning to the game here for both teams due to all the flags thrown here. Coonley straight back, looking, and he's going to throw late over the middle, and it short hops Rospert.
That is a tough throw to make there.
That's a tough throw. Coonley showing a good arm.
Throwing off his back foot, throwing back over the middle. You do have a receiver that maybe there was a gap, but that is a long throw for a high schooler to make. Still almost got it there.
Looking down here on the sideline, who's in the backfield right now?
Clearly, as the game plan has shown, St. Paul is very much pass heavy, as you would expect.
Yeah.
The second half trailing the whole time. Obviously an interesting switch off of what you would say their mojo is, really ground and pound action. But I think they've looked good in spurts.
Pocus back in the backfield on the hip of Coonley. Double pass maybe, and not able to make that pass as they threw it on the outside. Quick throw out there to Wyatt Hauser.
Ball might have popped loose there at the end. I'm not seeing any signal from the officials suggesting so, but players look like they were getting after it there for a second.
And before Hauser could throw it, he was bowled under by a host of Redskins. So
well defended there for the trick play. Give credit to the Redskins defense and credit for the creativity on the offensive side of the ball. Hook and ladder to end the first half for the Flyers. Now a double pass. At least credit for creativity points.
Absolutely. I'm going to think Coach Lufeld might go to the ground game here in trying to run out this clock. Good punt here by Freeze as it's going to go into Redskin territory and out right around the 45-yard line. Actually, I think let's see the side judge coming in to mark it. And where are they marking? They're marking it all the way down at the 41. So I think they missed that by about 2 yards.
Seems to be a pretty friendly Flyer spotting there.
Yes. So let's see who comes in at quarterback. Lease comes back at quarterback.
Good punt, though, all things considered for Landon Freeze. You know, they've got some very talented skill players on Port Clinton's side of the ball. If you play it to the side like that, it's very difficult to make a play on it simply because it's bouncing out of bounds. You get a good yardage pickup on the kick. I think that's a smart play there.
Berkey and Cornell go wide to the left. And
back to the regularly scheduled program here, Chris.
Yes.
Flag on the field.
False start on the Redskins. I certainly think if there's one thing Coach Lufeld can talk about with his team, it's the penalties. You reach a point, though, sometimes where when you have this many flags, you wonder how much of it is officiating and how much actually is the player themselves.
It's a good question.
But first down and 15, ball back now on the 36. Handoff, Pinkleton, jump cut. Pinkleton gets into the St. Paul secondary, gets all of the penalty yards back, and gets 7 yards. And I just heard about 50 fans clapping because there's no flag on the field.
Malakii Pinkleton, that is a tough man to bring down.
Right. Oh, boy.
Big hole.
Yeah, Pinkleton, shoestring tackle by Rospert. That one good inside the 40 down to the 39. And, boy, that was student body right. He had two big linemen leading the way, and that was a hole I could have gotten through. 8:30 to go, first down and 10 from the 39. Pinkleton takes it, jump cut. Flyers catch him there. As in there, deep 7, Gunnar Cluting, and number 57, Raphael Gross.
Credit to the stamina of these players. I'm tired just watching Malakii.
That was a state placer, tackling a state placer there as Gross and Pinkleton.
Uh-oh.
Rospert almost had a pick 6.
Excellent jump on the ball there. I'd say a little bit on Landon Lease there. Kind of floated the ball, gave the time and opportunity for the Flyer cornerback to make a play, but he certainly gave a good effort towards it. Almost coming down with the interception, and my money would have been on for him to return that all the way for 6 had he have came down with it.
St. Paul had an extra guy on the field. They get him off here. 3rd down. There's a pass for, I thought it was Cornell, but it was Berkey instead.
Good ball there by Landon Lease.
Yeah, Seifke, excuse me. And that's going to bring up 4th down. And you're getting a lot of plays that stop the clock here on a what's been a long Saturday night. I think football fans have spoken. They don't want week one of the OHSA season to come to an end as this one moves on.
Chris, can you tell me the last time that the 2 quarterbacks for both of the teams were also the punters?
Yeah.
Landon Lease is about to punt this ball.
Yeah, but it's Landon Freeze.
Sorry, Landon
for St.
Freeze.
Paul.
Multi-positional
so, no, I
players.
can't tell you.
That's fair.
36-yard line. They can pin him deep here. Freeze lets it bounce, picks it up, and Freeze bounces it to the outside. Shoestring tackle, and he's brought down inside the 10. No flags. 7:46 to play. Good look on the NOMS Access Orthopaedics replay there. Great tackle by Port Clinton.
You know, Chris, I really, really enjoy watching smaller school football. I like watching guys play on both sides of the ball, involved in special teams, you'll see a guy make a touchdown catch. I think the perfect example is Gavin Cornell. A couple touchdown catches, and by a couple, I mean 4, ladies and gentlemen. He's playing out of his mind. But then goes back on the defensive side of the ball and a big hit. And you've seen the same thing with Landon Freeze. A lot of these players out here, two-way players, really showing off the versatility.
Absolutely. So 1st down and 10, turn handoff, and just nowhere to run. That St. Paul running game. Pocus limited carries, got about 45, close to 50 yards, but again, limited touches. And when you were trailing, by 4 scores, just not a lot you can do.
When he has seen the light of day, I think he's done well with it. He is, especially earlier in the game, he was having some very powerful runs down the right-hand side. Just haven't had a lot of room to work with here in the second half.
This game requires sugar. Adam has brought some nice Slurpee gummies, so don't tell your mom that I'm having a couple pieces of gummies here with my diabetes. Roll, throw out
He's
there.
open.
He's got a receiver. It's juggled and dropped, and now we
But
got
a flag, ladies and gentlemen.
As Pocus was out there, and I think they're going to say he was contacted in the back. Let's see. They're talking about it.
That ball was a floater over there.
Actually, Port Clinton is pointing St. Paul's way that maybe Pocus pushed off. Let's see. The
Port Clinton number 9, Jace Cornell, really getting in on the action there to be able to hear what's going on. The officials, he is right next door.
Yeah, I'm thinking that they should have a little portable tent for these officials for all their meetings. Because we've had a ton of meetings and trying to discuss what's going on out there. Here's a look on replay. And again, not sure why that flag came down.
Came in very late.
I didn't see anything that Pocus did. He ended up on the ground. And I hate to beat a dead horse, but the announcer is about ready to yell out on the field that they need to make a call here either way. Yeah. So still discussing it. Whoever is delivering the food to the officials' locker after the game, I would make them wait. Make them wait a little bit for the food in the locker room afterwards, like they've made us wait here tonight.
Well, they must all be getting a chance to speak in there. Lots of time dedicated to this discussion here.
I'm waiting to, the game to end, and I'll get that text from Brian saying we probably don't want to, yell at the officials as much as we have tonight. Yes, that's true.
What we just
Adam.
saw there was the official waving his flag to say that, hey, actually,
There's
despite
no
our
penalty.
despite our discussions, there was no penalty.
Right.
So we'll replay that.
I think what happened was the official threw the flag, and then they got together and they said, what was the penalty? He goes, well, I didn't really mean to throw it. And they said, well, if we discuss this long enough and then somebody holds it up and shakes it, we'll just say there's no penalty. All right, that's the last time I'm talking about the officiating in tonight's game. I've talked about the officiating enough. It's about the kids on the field. Coonley back.
Good
Nice
ball.
out to Rosbert, and that's good for a catch. And that's going to be good for a Flyer first down on 3rd and 9. Boy, Coonley, right on the numbers there.
He put it between two different defensive backs there for the Port Clinton Redskins. Had to be very precise with it, but a very nice pass. Great catch there by Levi Rosbert.
Every time that I've just made a pact with myself, every time I need to mention the officials, I'm going to mention one of our sponsors. That's an A. Miller Excavating first down. So 1st and 10 Flyers now from their own 29-yard line. Good rush coming. Coonley's got a guy wide open. And then he throws. Rosbert makes the catch. On his feet. Down the sideline. 10-5. Touchdown. Flyers.
What a catch.
And that one is going to be good. I think 71 yards. See if we can get a look at it here.
That was a catch in traffic.
Yeah.
Looked like the defensive back was actually about to come over and pick that ball off. Levi Rosbert said, oh, no, you don't, sir. What a catch and run. Really deep touchdown there.
I thought Lindenberger was the more open receiver there, but Rosbert with the catch. That goes for 70 yards.
His second of the night. 2 receiving touchdowns for Levi Rosbert tonight.
Yes. And the Flyers had a touchdown, and the lead now down to just 2 scores, 6:39 to play from Contractors Stadium. Port Clinton leads it 37-23. And back we are here. Flyers making it interesting as they've added a couple touchdowns. We were talking at 37-9. Port Clinton might go for a 2 and have a running clock. And since then, St. Paul's put up 14 straight. And with 6:39 to play, you would suspect an onside kick of some kind here. St. Paul needs to make sure it goes 10 yards. And this one, kick away.
Catches him off guard, it looked like.
It does, and is it going to get? It goes all the way into the end zone. That's all right.
It's a great kick.
Great kick there by Griffin. As it goes into the end zone, that thing could have spun the other way and gone out of bounds. God, give this St. Paul Flyer team a lot of credit. Never say die here tonight.
And getting it done through the air, not the traditional route that St. Paul does. They are such good runners of the ball. They have such a good scheme built out around that. So many powerful backs that they can run out there and get some really difficult, tough yards. But it's been the Flyers' passing game tonight that's been the absolute menacing force behind their points. I would argue the exact same for Port Clinton, despite the 2 running backs being our players' targeting of the game.
Yeah.
I would argue it's been the quarterbacks and receivers that have been stealing the show tonight.
So, it'll be first down and 10. I can't believe the ball hasn't been spotted yet, but oh, you know what that means? We'll mention a sponsor, Kellie Deeter. state representative here in our area. Also, stick around, our Civista Wealth Management proudly celebrating 140 years of community banking. We'll have our player of the game on our postgame show here tonight. Looking, back to pass, and he is swarmed under and brought down.
Not one, not two, but three different St. Paul Flyers swarming the quarterback there. That is a big loss, almost down to the 10-yard line.
Boy, give a lot of credit to Nate Sander, number 2. He's been all over the field. Gunnar Kluding's been all over the field. Raphael Gross was in there on that. So it's 2nd down and 20. Turn, handoff, Pinkleton. Pinkleton does one good thing, that's stay in bounds.
And a late flag. 2 seconds after the play concluded. We'll be interested to see what happens here.
Yeah, well, I wonder if it's a defensive type of flag. Sometimes when they come in late, it's a face mask, and they're going to say targeting. Horse collar.
Heard targeting there. I have not seen it.
Let's
Looks
take
like
a
we're
look
going to
here
get a replay.
on replay.
Every time, don't you say, Mike?
Hard to get an angle from that as to
Yeah.
the targeting that might have happened.
I think it might have been horse collar. But either way, it's going to move ahead.
What was 2nd and a mile is now
Yeah.
2nd and very manageable.
Yeah, well, let's bring the officials together and discuss who our sponsors are tonight. Pinnacle Building Services, thank them. Scout Construction Services, want to thank them. Orthopaedic Services in Norwalk and Sandusky, accepting new patients. Now that's NOMS Access Orthopaedics.
Great night to be a sponsor of the show. Certainly
Yes.
getting your time here in the spotlight as we still are not underway.
And still waiting on 2nd down and 3, but they're going to run that play clock down. That's actually a sign of endearment towards St. Paul that they've been able to get back into this game. Pinkleton going to be brought down, but not till he gets the 1st down. Adam, could you make note, mention to Brian that maybe the best sponsorship available on the OH report now is the penalty sponsorship.
So, and at this point in time, each 1st down is really going to cut into the clock here. Clearly, Port Clinton have established we're fine with 37 points. We're not really looking to score much more. We're really trying to work down this clock. Every 1st down is going to really take some time off.
It should be run on 1st down, run on 2nd down, and then see where you're at on 3rd down. But they can get this clock down to around 3.5 minutes here. If you left this game early, you left a good one. Boy,
Great
Sandor,
play by Nate Sandor.
Linebacker blitz gets in there and makes the tackle.
He looked like Troy Polamalu timing the snap there.
Yeah.
Jumped right through the line right as the ball was snapped. Excellent play in the backfield for Nate Sandor.
Reminds me of a past Flyer football player, war number 2, Jacob Good.
Oh, good
I think
player.
Jacob was on that runner-up team in 2014. He played tight end. And I joke with that, but we're both good friends with the Good family, and nice kid. 4:25 the clock runs. Pinkleton.
Nowhere to run.
No, nowhere to run, nowhere to hide.
I counted 7. It looked like 6 or 7 Flyers in on the tackle there. That's a great team play.
Adam again with another astute comment as official time 9:56, 4:18 on the clock. Physically impossible for this game to end before 10 o'clock. Timeout St. Paul as it brings 3rd and 15. And this game, although it's my first game here with the OH report, I might have to learn, I think I said midway through the 3rd quarter, this game's over. St. Paul's trying to say, not so fast.
Credit to Coach Dowdy. You know, clearly there's a fight in these players that is willing them to keep pushing here in the fourth quarter. Couple of really long touchdown passes, a 34-yarder to Connor Lindenberger, and a 71-yarder to Levi Rosberg. That was a tremendous play, a catch in traffic, and then sprints the rest of the way. Flyers are at least playing for something. You can clearly tell there's some urgency on their end. Will it be enough? Yet to be seen, but at least if you're a Flyer faithful, you can say this team really had a lot of heart tonight, despite being down, gave a lot of effort, and regardless of the outcome, we're going to move on and grow from this and become a better team from it.
So St. Paul, I'm thinking if you're Port Clinton here, if you're running it, you're running something safe. Maybe a little wide receiver, quick out to Gavin Cornell, let him use his.
Only one down.
Or
like
you
a
just
tight
give
end
it,
here.
or you just give it to Pinkleton and make St. Paul use another timeout. That's what they do. Pinkleton pops it outside, but he's only going to get out just past the original line of scrimmage where he's brought down. And St. Paul going to use a timeout. Rosberg helps Pinkleton up there. Good sportsmanship, and Port Clinton going to have to punt. I want to never say never, but St. Paul's on a couple occasions has been close to recovering the onside kick here today. So if they can get a score, you're saying there's a chance. Yes, I am.
The Flyers, with whatever chance they do have left, will have to be pretty much perfect the rest of the way here to see this game out and to have any sort of a Cinderella comeback. I mean, they're going to need to get a nice, probably a punt return here, hopefully get some yardage back on that, go down, score quickly. They have, looks like, one timeout remaining, so won't be able to stop the clock very many more times when Port Clinton eventually gets back on offense. So it's going to have to be a pretty perfect effort for St. Paul.
So deep has landed Freeze. He's back on the 35. St. Paul, and using those two timeouts, is down to 1. 4th and 8. Freeze got to try and come up and catch this on the fly. I know he's got a lot of space back there to cover, but Port Clinton has got some fortuitous rolls here, and Freeze will catch this one. He calls for a fair catch, and it's on the 30-yard line. That's where St. Paul will take over. 242 seconds remaining. It sounds a lot more than 4 minutes and 2 seconds, but
the pace of the game, it certainly has felt like that.
Not sure what the theme was tonight. That's an interesting costume walking in front of us here. Ah, okay. Hawaiian night. So 4:02, the air raid Flyer offense comes back out.
7 o'clock in Hawaii, right?
That's right. Coonley straight back, looks. Coonley's going to throw the out, and tipped, and Cornell is going to make the interception, and he's going to go out of bounds as Cornell was looking for that 5th touchdown. And you know what? You got to try it there. St. Paul, Coonley.
Port Clinton was clearly, as you could see, had a lot of drop defensive backs. They very much were encouraging St. Paul to try to take a shot. St. Paul having to, clearly, based upon the amount of time left, had to try it and wasn't able to convert.
There's no suspense in this now, but if the final score ends up with Port Clinton on top, we've got a guy with 4 touchdowns, about 200 yards receiving, and he's got an interception there. I think he's going to be the Civista Wealth Management MVP. Almost went in for his 5th touchdown there. Now 3:53, St. Paul, just 1 timeout remaining.
Not to mention Gavin Cornell with, I'd argue, the biggest hit of the game much earlier.
Sure was. And now another running back in the backfield, turn handoff as they give it to Beckett Meisner. Meisner again, good size at 195 pounds and a junior.
Kept moving his legs there. That ball did not get knocked dead there for a while. He was still moving forward. The whole pile was getting pushed forward there. Good job by the Redskins offensive line.
And the play clock right there at the scoreboard. So certainly Landon Lee's going to be staring at that play clock. And still 20 seconds left on it. It'll be right down close to 3 minutes when he snaps it here. I'm not sure, Coach Dowdy, if he's going to use a timeout. Certainly if they get a first down, they probably will not. Handoff, pushing forward inside the 30, down to the 28. Little late hit there, but no penalty.
That was a pancake breakfast, and boom! 72, laying the hammer.
And
that is Axel Blumensad.
He's a big boy out there on that right.
That was a small cornerback
position
against a big lineman. Those usually sort themselves out in the way that they just did.
2:40 to play. Again, they'll take this down to about 2:20. And I'm sure on 4th down, maybe they put it in the air if they don't get it here. 10 seconds on the play clock.
Time clearly playing to the advantage of Port Clinton here.
Yep. Straight handoff, and they're going to have a penalty. Yeah. That penalty brought to you by RMH Concrete and Foundations. Also brought to you by Kellie Deeter, state representative, NOMS Access Orthopaedics.
Penalty was declined there.
Yeah, St. Paul. A little surprised they declined it, but they want to get the ball back as soon as they can. And this sets up 4th down. So
They're telling us, Mike, that there's no way you have battery.
4th and 2.
And then it does look like St. Paul uses their final timeout there.
Yes, they do. And with that timeout, with 2:17 to play, it's certainly maybe they bring Cornell back out on here and they try to throw a quick out to him to convert it. I'll give Port Clinton fans a lot of credit. Nobody left early. So the Edison Bridge over the West Bay, not very busy right now.
Good support for both teams tonight. Again, beautiful night, not too hot. Starting to get a little bit closer to that football fall weather, but good support for both teams. It's been loud when there have been all of these big plays tonight. I mean, we've had catches for touchdowns at 33 yards, 53 yards, a 40-yarder, 34, 70. I mean, these are big plays, so there's been a lot to cheer for both sides tonight.
Pinkleton back in the game, and right now, Freeze guarding Cornell in the slot. Now Cornell unguarded. Freeze looked like he was showing corner blitz. And now we're going to have timeout. Port Clinton. Why not?
That would have been interesting if that ball would have been snapped. There was two of the better receivers for Port Clinton. They're split out wide with only one cornerback.
Yeah,
and a guy with 4 touchdowns lurking.
Gavin Cornell, I'm sure he went over during that huddle and said, listen, watch Landon Freeze. If you see him creeping, I'm going to run straight down the hash marks, and I'll be wide open.
As he's been doing all night, a tremendous amount of speed, has caught everything thrown his way, a ton of yards tonight. He has been clearly one of the standout players for Port Clinton tonight.
So 2 things we know. The drone has run out of battery life. It's not out there. Adam's headset out of battery life, but somehow Mike Lilgy's still on the sidelines down there reporting for K96. Turn handoff and spun around and brought down in the backfield.
Tackle by committee there.
Yeah.
One flyer really slowed down Malakii Pinkleton there, and then a few more came over to help out, finish off the tackle. Looks like there's some potential cramping going on here for the St. Paul player.
It took to this point in the game. I was shocked because last night in the game that I watched here on Port Clinton, it was cramping started towards the end of the first half. 37-23, 60 points scored here tonight. Much of it through the air. We thought we'd feature a really good ground game, and St. Paul, not that they haven't run the football well, but they've just found more success through the air.
Same exact story over on Port Clinton side. Malakii Pinkleton highlight Division I football player incoming, has several offers. Clearly going to be where Port Clinton would steer most of their plays. And while he's gotten a tremendous amount of attention, the stars of the night have been the receivers, namely Gavin Cornell with 4 touchdowns. And credit to Landon Lee stepping in, has done a tremendous job at quarterback, and a pretty serviceable punter, I would say, as well.
So Coach Dowdy bringing his team to the sidelines with the cramp down there on the field. So first time we mentioned the athletic trainer here today, but finally getting a little workout there. And Adam, anything interesting up there right now that you see? Nothing too grave. Nobody watching from Hawaii? All right, there you go. Week 1, Adam has made it official. Week 1 ends the Ohio high school football season when this game comes to a conclusion.
You heard it here. The last game still available to watch. St. Paul versus Port Clinton, running deep into the night.
Tell you what, we're going to be over at Western Reserve on Tuesday for some Firelands Conference volleyball. I'm not sure if I'll have a staff that's coming back unless they see. Holy cow! I hope you've got it on auto pick, Brandon. No auto pick.
The refs are helping him with some time. Every time it's his turn to pick.
Take Burrow and Chase, and in a late round, add Quinshon Junkins. You'll win. All right. Got my fantasy draft coming up on the 28th. It will be year 32 for the ECFL, based out of Fort Lauderdale, Florida. Drafted my first team in 1993 in Coral Springs, Florida. And let me tell you, you've never played fantasy football until you've played it with 13 guys from Brooklyn who moved to South Florida. That's real fantasy football. So getting up for St. Paul there, number 57. Who's that, Brandon?
Raphael Gross. Important player there for the Flyers. So
yeah,
hopefully just a cramp, nothing more, get some fluids in him and get him right. But he's a very important player for this Flyers team, not only tonight, but for obviously the rest of the schedule here.
So we're down to 2 minutes and 12 seconds remaining here. The most important job over the next 5 minutes are going to be the color commentator chasing down the Civista Wealth Management MVP. How soon can you get him up here? So first down and 10 for the Flyers on the 33. Coonley looks. He's under a bunch of pressure. He escapes it. Gets outside, and eventually he's going to be brought down. They're going to say, keep the clock running.
That is a lot of work for about a half-yard gain there, Chris.
Take a look here on replay. Works around 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and the 6th guy finally brought him down.
Clock is running. If St. Paul wants to progress down the field here, they're going to have to do it quick.
Coonley straight back, looks, going to throw over the middle. He's got Rosbert inside the Port Clinton 40. I don't know if you get up there and maybe spike it and, you know, save some time and be able to call a couple plays. And they don't have the chains yet, so waiting, and they'll stop it there after 1 second ran off.
Levi Rosbert, a name that keeps popping up tonight on the broadcast. He has been excellent. Credit to Coonley. There were a ton of white shirts surrounding him. He did find his man, though. Stepped up. Really nice, powerful throw. Caught him there in the middle, and Rosbert was able to advance up the field for a few more yards.
Yeah, I think we knew, you know, I watched Levi last year. Tough competitor. But I think St. Paul's coming out of this going, we've got some good receivers. Lindenberger. Of course, you got Landon Freeze, who's going to kind of run it. He's going to catch it. Pocus is going to churn up yards on the ground. you found Griffin here tonight making a couple nice catches.
You know, in a tough schedule for the Flyers these next couple of games, but when they get into Firelands Conference play, can that passing game be a real factor for them?
Yeah, he's going to throw it long. He's got Lindenberger out there, and surprisingly, no flag.
Lindenberger does not like it. He looks like he was wanting a flag there.
Yeah.
I can't say that I blame him. It looked like maybe a tiny bit of contact beforehand. We'll see it here on the replay.
It sure looked like he was contacted there. It's going to set up 3rd down and 10, and that would have made it really interesting had St. Paul been able to score quick there.
Another great ball by Coonley.
Yeah,
Put that right into a position where basically just his man could make the catch.
I don't think the defensive back for Port Clinton saw that football until it was bearing down on him, and to me it looked like he interfered. I think the official said, I heard the play-by-play announcer up there talking about how many fouls we've called. I'm not going to call this one.
Oh,
Coonley gets around, and then throws it while he's in the air, a little jump pass, looking for Landon Freeze, and it's incomplete.
Coonley doing his best Patrick Mahomes impression.
Yes.
Jumping little sidearm, not able to work, but I was very impressed there. The feet were moving. He was absolutely making guys miss and at least giving his team an opportunity to catch the ball. But credit to Port Clinton, haven't allowed the big play to happen since that first one, at least keeping them in check right now.
So 4th down and 10. If St. Paul's not able to get the line to gain the 26, then Port Clinton's going to take a couple knees. And good pass rush. Coonley's going to throw it on the outside, and he's got Rosbert. Actually, he's got Freeze for a Flyer 1st down.
Well-designed play there. Landon Freeze lined up far left. You had Pocus in the backfield, so they were able to get 2 of those bell cow backs on the field at once, and Freeze has shown himself as a very capable receiver tonight.
There's going to be some people that left this game early that are going to look at the score, especially if St. Paul can tack another one on, and they're going to ask what happened. But like we said, St. Paul is developing into a really good passing team here right in front of their home fans tonight. Yeah, everybody out there on YouTube are watching right now as the Flyers attempt to come back here. Coonley looks, he's going to throw it out there for Lindenberger, and Lindenberger
touchdown!
Makes the catch for the Flyer touchdown.
Martinez Wilson was looking for that ball the whole time, never saw it until it was in Connor Lindenberger's hands. Another great pass and catch.
Oh my, we got a game, and I agree. I thought they might go for 2 here, but instead, if they went for 2, Dave, that would leave overtime up there, and nobody wants overtime. So Nate Griffin in for an extra point. Snap is down, the kick is up, and the kick is good. We've got 64 seconds to play, and it's down to a 1-score game. We're going to keep it right here. I think we've had a record amount of commercials, a record amount of yellow flags, and maybe a record amount of passing yards between 2 teams here in the second half.
21 unanswered for St. Paul's offense here. We were looking up at the scoreboard, 37-9. Man, is this getting out of hand? You know, is St. Paul going to be able to hold tough? Port Clinton showing a lot of domination in the first half and early in the second half in that 3rd quarter. But this 4th quarter has been all Flyers. Touchdown catches from Connor Lindenberger of 34 yards, followed up by a really deep one from Levi Rosbert. And then, again, Connor Lindenberger showing up in the 4th quarter twice with a catch with about a minute left on the clock. That's his 2nd one of this 4th quarter.
So with 64 seconds remain, Nate Griffin's going to get a chance here to do his best squib kick here.
This is pretty much the game here, Chris. Flyers are out of timeouts.
There's not many guys up here on this front line. Coach Luthold saying, get up on the 50. They only have 4 guys on the 50 right now. Now a 5th comes out. They've got a 5-5-1 set up here on the kick return.
Might all come down to this.
Griffin looks like he's going to kick it to the Port Clinton bench side. High hop, it goes off of Port Clinton Redskin, and St. Paul is going to recover.
Listen to this home crowd go wild. There is still life here at Contractor Stadium.
Well, St. Paul's saying they have it, and they should say that. The officials have yet to say who has it.
This might take a second to sort out here.
Let's
you
take
see
a
on
look
the
here
replay.
on the replay. It goes off of the shin of a Port Clinton Redskin who came in inside the 10-yard area, about 8 yards on the line to gain, and St. Paul has got the football.
Oh, boy.
My, oh, my, and I think I said it, we need more cowbells.
Wow. Well, folks, you're getting an entertaining fourth quarter here nonetheless.
Yes, you are. And let's take a look here again on our split screen replay.
Another great onside kick. That ball is getting elevated. That makes you think as a Port Clinton Redskin, do I wait for the ball to cross the 10-yard mark? Do I go and get it right away? That little indecision results in a weird bounce, hits off a player's knee. St. Paul quick to recover.
Do not adjust your screen at home. If you turned off the coverage when it was 37-9, St. Paul 3 unanswered, recovered an onside kick. And St. Paul looks to 200 viewers right now on the stream. Everybody wants their high school football. Absolutely.
This has been an exciting one tonight. Let's see how it finishes out.
Coonley drops straight back, looks, he's under pressure. Coonley's got time, he's gonna run, and he gets out of bounds after picking up about 4 yards. What he needs is a couple guys running some under routes. Those guys running deep routes are tired right now. Wow, what an effort here by the St. Paul Flyers here in the second half.
Time a little bit of an issue here if they start running some of those plays over the middle. Got to look to get out of bounds after you catch
it. And they need first down so they can get up and spike it. Coonley looks. Coonley is going to be bowled under in the backfield.
Helmet ripped
off. His helmet came off. I thought they might have got a face mask there, but Coonley's going to have to come off the field.
And the clock's still running, too. Down to 40 seconds here.
I don't know if that's a rule in high school or not. Coonley is coming off. Clock is still running. Onto the field is the backup quarterback for Norwalk St. Paul, and that is going to be number 9, Wyatt Hauser.
Spikes the ball. We're going to go down to fourth down here.
Yeah,
this will be for all the marbles.
Well, and the right thing to do, that gets Coonley back out there. And, you know, St. Paul here, if they can get it over the 40-yard line, they'll be able to stop the clock till they get the change set. St. Paul comes up and spikes it.
Port Clinton will be sitting at that first down marker with, I would imagine, a host of defensive backs waiting for that ball to go deep on them. This is going to be a really challenging play for St. Paul to get the first down here.
I would think Port Clinton's going to bring the house here. Low snap, Coonley gets it. He's got time, he throws it, and it's caught! Oh! It's gonna be good for a first down!
20 seconds left.
Clock is stopped till the change set. Coonley needs to get up there and down the football.
Pandemonium here in Contractor Stadium.
4th and 19, they get 20, and the clock stops.
17 seconds to make a play.
Clock stops on the first down. And then restarts when the chains are set. We'll reset our clock here to 17. And St. Paul probably here needs to look to try and get half of it. They're certainly going to be covering the wide parts of the field. What's been open is the middle of the field.
With no timeouts left, though, if you're getting taken down in bounds, it's got to be for a first down. You might not get another play.
Keep Coonley upright. Get 10, 15 yards and go up and down it again. Coonley under pressure, and we're going to have a flag. It's going to be holding. Coonley throws it and almost intercepted Pinkleton. I think he was out of bounds. But now, I don't know, with the holding penalty, that's going to move it back to almost midfield. I don't think Coonley can launch it that far, so maybe we're looking here hook and ladder or something again.
Flyers playing from just tough positions this entire possession.
There's some tired football players out there on both sides. The Port Clinton Redskins wearing the white, St. Paul Flyers wearing the black.
Now you could argue that's a good penalty because if Coonley goes down there, that is game over. You've at least given yourself a chance here, albeit a tough one, but these Flyers have been resilient tonight, and they have, despite them playing off the back foot for most of it, they have been resilient and shown some fight. Let's see what they can do.
11 seconds left. I know we're showing triple or double zeros, but it's 11. There we go. So maybe a quick 10 yards and throw it out, and Coonley's going to be bowled under and brought down in the backfield, and that is going to be it as the clock strikes 000. Port Clinton is going to move to 1-0, but the home crowd here on this side of Contractor Stadium is going to applaud this second half comeback by the St. Paul Flyers. Our final score, Port Clinton 37, St. Paul 30. Back with the postgame show when we return.
Take a look at all the action from Friday Night Football right here in North Central Ohio with great analysis, highlights, coach interviews, and so much more every single Friday night right here on the OH Report.
Every time that we walk in, we know we're going to walk into a place that's very clean, and when we walk in, we have a professional environment to come to. The reliability of Pinnacle is always on the spot. We've been with them 16 years so far. They're committed, they are professional, they are very transparent with their pricing, and they excel at meeting every goal and every need we have.
That way we can see our cameraman. Read from the top. Proud supporters of all St. Paul athletes, it's RMH Concrete and Foundations, your scoreboard sponsor. Kellie Deeter for Ohio. Find out more about the state representative candidate at kelliedeeter.com by clicking the link in the description. Your instant replay sponsor, NOMS Access Orthopaedics, services in Norwalk and Sandusky, accepting new patients now. Player of the game sponsor, Civista Wealth Management, proudly celebrating 140 years of community banking. Our timeout sponsor, Miller Excavating, using the latest technology to provide a full range of earth-moving services for local builders, businesses, and municipalities in Lorain and Erie County. Miller, also our first down sponsor. Want to thank Pinnacle Building Services. Elevate your professional space with tailored cleaning solutions that promise unmatched quality and reliability. And Scout Construction. With more than a decade of business, you can trust Scout Construction with your roofing and siding needs. Call Scout Construction for more information. 419-989-7240. Finally, we'd like to thank Sutton Bank. Earn the cash reward of your choice for doing simple activities with Kasasa. Those fine patrons. We're going to take a quick break. We'll be back with our game MVP in 30 seconds.
For over 12 years, you've trusted Scout Construction for quality building and remodeling. Now we're proud to offer expert excavation services to start your project off right. You've seen what we build, now see the way we dig. Experience the Scout Construction difference. Call or email us today for a free quote and let us break ground together.
Hey, does your checking account pay you with real cash rewards with no monthly maintenance fees ever? Bummer. Ask for Kasasa Rewards Checking. It's our superpower.
Our post-game show, it's our Civista Wealth Management Player of the Game, Gavin Cornell. Gavin, you had a season in 48 minutes here today. Walk us through those touchdowns there. 4 of them and an interception. What was clicking out there?
So for the first call, when I scored, the coach, he called a money route, and our one football coach, he always just coaches us up, tells us how to run the route, and that's kind of how I ran it, and I just take coaching.
Good. Now, right before the half there, that was a big one. St. Paul had gotten some momentum with about 35 seconds left. You break 3 for a 40-yard touchdown. You go up and high point that. That was just an athletic play. Talk us through that catch.
So in practice, we work. We have a receiver stand in front of us, and our coach has us. He throws the ball up to us, and we have to go up and high point it over their head. So I just took the drill in the game.
St. Paul, they were down 37-9. What a comeback by St. Paul. I mean, you guys come out of here with a victory, but, good fight in your opponent here tonight.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's going to make you better next week when you guys go on the road to Fostoria. What you looking for this year for the Port Clinton Redskins?
So as a team, our goal is set to win the SBCs. We have a couple of challenging teams ahead of us, so we're just set to face those teams.
Well, hey, good luck with your game at Fostoria next week. You're our Civista Wealth Management MVP of the game. Who do you want to shout out there in Facebook and YouTube land?
I want to shout out the coaches, my mom, my dad, my little brother, and the football team for just pushing me to be my best.
Fantastic. Whatever you had for breakfast today, take it next week against Fostoria. That's Gavin Cornell, our Civista Wealth Management MVP. We'll be back with the postgame show when we return. Paul when they fell behind 37-9 that the game was over, all but the shouting. But give this St. Paul Flyer crew, the coaching staff, Chris Dowdy, a lot of credit. Never say die attitude, and they made it a game here at the end. Not only did they get it to 37-30, they recovered an onside kick and had a chance inside of Port Clinton territory there, Brandon. It's going to go down as a loss, but there's a lot to build on here for the Flyers.
An exciting team for really exciting game for both teams. A lot of points, I think 67 in total. You're absolutely right. The fourth quarter was all St. Paul. 3 touchdown passes in the fourth quarter from Grant Kuhnel to Connor Lindenberger and also Levi Rosberg.
Yeah.
So plenty of action there for the Flyers in the fourth quarter. A real testament that, hey, we're not going to back down just because we're losing this football game. And again, this is a teachable moment, a learning moment for this team. You have a long season ahead of you and a really tough non-conference schedule. So being able to say, hey, we played against this really good Port Clinton team, fought back from behind when everybody was counting us out, I think is really, really useful for the coaches and bulletin board material.
Brandon, enjoyed it. Let's do it again soon. You got a trip to Japan on the line. I know Adam was up late last night. He's ready to get back to Mansfield. Brandon just got off his other job, hurried here for the camera duty. So it's been a long day here from Contractors Park. We want to thank everybody out there for watching here on YouTube and on Facebook. It's live and free on the OH Report. And we want to thank our postgame sponsor, RMH Concrete and Foundations. For our crew here from Warren H. Whitney Field and Contractor Stadium, we're signing off saying good night, everybody.